Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where LSRTV brings you our continuing coverage of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series with tonight's ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250 live tonight on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Happy to have you with us as always. Myself, Evan Pasoko, joined by Andy Kessler and LSRTV's producer Cisco Scaramuza, ready to do the dance for 167 laps from Hotlanta for round 2 of 12 in the 2016 Season 1 Cup Series campaign. And Andy, Daytona come and gone. I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of Daytona the last little while. This is the first real test for a lot of these drivers. Last week, if you tuned in, we were happy to have you with us. If not, you want to go back and watch that simulcast replay on the LSRTV YouTube. It was a spectacular race. We talked a lot about the talent field, but it was a plate track. Tonight is where it all begins at Atlanta. A very fast, a very abrasive 1.5 intermediate racetrack. This is going to be the type of track in which the bulk of our season will be comprised of. If you can find speed here, we know that you're going to be able to find speed anywhere. And tonight, well, it is an intermediate, always has a little bit of a different change to it. Track to track, Atlanta is no walk in the park either, and you're talking about 250 miles between the green and the checkered flag tonight. That's a lot that can go down.
Absolutely. It's a lot on your plate. As far as a driver, you got to be on your game the whole entire race, all 250 miles, because these tires wear out quickly. 10, 15 laps into a run, these guys are going to be struggling for grip, and you're going to see them push up the racetrack, go real high, up near the wall sometimes in turns 1 and 2, and also, of course, at the other end in 3 and 4. They're going to be searching for grip all over this place, but you got to be on your toes. This is a type of track that off of turn 2 and 4, it's real easy to lose control of your car, and we don't want to have that early on in the race. That'll spell trouble for a lot of these guys, and you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines watching these guys get it done for the rest of the night. So definitely one of these places where tires are a factor. They will be a factor all night long. We'll see some interesting strategies as well as we go through the night, some short pitting maybe, and also some guys trying different things. There's one thing they will not try, I'm sure of it, is a two-tire stop.
I thought you were going to say one thing they're not going to try is going backwards all the way around. We did see one driver do that in qualifying, Brad Newman. Good enough for P37, just as we are tonight on Sundays and just as we are on Wednesday nights as well with the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series presented by Garrett Smithley Racing right here on LSR TV. So excited to have this championship go underway. I mentioned it is race 2 of 12 in season 1 on 2016. There are going to be 3 12-race seasons. In the end, your finishes in each of those respective 3 championships is going to lead up to and determine who the overall 2016 championship will be. We're going from Daytona last week all the way through Homestead with the Cup guys, and we're happy that you're making LSR TV your home for sim racing on Sunday evenings. If you weren't with us, though, 1 week ago from Daytona, let's let you know what you missed in the ProGeek Cup Daytona 250. Ray Alfalla, the king of the plate tracks himself, took home the checkered flag and therefore walked away with a 48 points, 6 points behind in second with 42. Second place finisher Adam Benefiel, Matt Busa, Byron Daly, Brian Blackford inside of the top 5. John Gorlinski, Chase Capri, Chad Coleman, Alex Monteferranti, Brad Patton inside of the top 10. Not surprising to see any of those names up there, but 48 points for P1, 42 points for P2 is a huge difference. We know everybody likes to say, we got a good finish. Everybody wants to win, Daytona no exception. Here tonight in Atlanta, though, as I said when we just came on, is I think going to be the single biggest test so far that we've seen from these guys. That we know they have the talent, but strategy is also going to be a big part of this. There are tons of guys behind the scenes that we're not going to hear from all season that you might not even know of, that are on the pit box for these guys, that are up on the spotter stand for all of these drivers, pushing the buttons. This series, much like you see with an NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series or an RSR Full Throttle Cup series that you see right here on LSR TV, 50% of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series scheduled distances, so 167 laps at Atlanta. I said it before, I'll say it again because you can't stress it enough, is a long race. You're going to get a good handful of runs in. You're going to have a couple of caution flags. You could have a lot of green flag racing, green flag pit stops mixing this up tonight. So I'm excited, and I know that a lot of guys, as much fun as Daytona is, this is really what they consider the season opener. They've been waiting for this evening.
Oh, they absolutely have been waiting for this evening. It's always on the on the horizon and on the docket for all these guys. It's one of the favorite places of a lot of these drivers to come and race. So obviously Daytona, the spectacle, the whole everything that goes with Daytona is come and gone. It's in the past now. Like you said, the season can now officially start. But for a lot of these guys that had some trouble last week, this is really a time and a place that they really need to step things up. We talked about Ray Alfala getting maximum points last week. It's one of those things you don't want to fall too far behind. And for those guys that had poor finishes last week, you're definitely going to want to have a rebound night here tonight and get yourself in the top 10 to try to gain some points as well that you lost last week. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that as the course of the night. And we did see a great mix of drivers finish inside the top 10 last week, including a whole bunch of pro drivers and peak antifreeze drivers, but along with some other guys that we see commonly here and some leagues that we do here on LSRTV.
And with that, our 10 to close single car qualifying session draws to a close. It looks like the provisional pole sitter is the 86 of Joseph Galota. He's got about 55 more seconds to hang on if anybody else has an opportunity to dethrone him. But we have 43 drivers here tonight in Atlanta, plus all of you tuning in at home. We're happy to have you with us as always on LSRTV through iRacing Live. With that, we'll toss things down trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies and with Jaden Berkey for the performance of this evening's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A big thanks to Jaden Berkey and as well to the virtual Thunderbirds. We're time to go racing in Atlanta. Let's take a look at the ProGeek Consulting starting grid. That 28-119 going to be fast enough to put Joseph Galota on the front row, getting pole position alongside him. Logan Clampett qualifying second. Matt Busa, Bentley Glazer, and Daniel Roper qualifying inside the top 5 tonight, along with Mitchell Hunt in P6. E.J. O'Rourke slated the roll from 7th, 8th position to R.J. Williams, and Brian Blackford and John Gorlinski back on row number 5.
That 11th starting spot here tonight will be the 11 of Alan Elwood. Trey Edson will roll off 12th. 13th is Chase Cabry. Justin Fuller will start in that 14th spot. Byron Daly in the 60 car will roll off 15th. 16th goes to Josh Jones. Adam Gilliland will start 17th. 18th, that's David Comstock. And Josh Parker will start 19th. And outside of row number 10, that's Matthew Muse in the 14.
Inside on row number 11, 21st starting spot to Brad Patton. Adam Benefield outside in the number 22 spot. 23rd going to go to Craig Stykes. Tyler Dalton qualifying 24th. 25th this evening going to be Austin Jones, joined by Alex Monteferranti to his right-hand side. Chad Coleman 27th, the P28 for Matthew Chafe. Greg Spears in 29th, rounding out your top 30. Outside row number 15 is Jordan Hightower.
Tyler Tucker will start 31st. 32nd goes to Matthew Quick. Jesse Kovacs will start 33rd. 34th is Justin Weaver. Rich Jett will start 35th. 36th is Scott Mitten. Josh Connors will roll off in that 37th spot. 38th is Brian Day. Brad Newman, the last car to take a qualifying lap, will start 39th. 40th will be Ray Alfala. Doy Woods in the 91 starts 41st. 42nd, Brandon Wilkinson. And John Wilco in the 62 will be the shotgun on the field in 43rd.
And with 39 drivers taking a qualifying time, nobody else put up a time in that final minute of the qualifying session. So it was Joseph Galota's time at that 28.119, which was fast enough to give him the pole position tonight, just sitting about 14/100ths of a second faster to Logan Clampett, the number 44 machine at Chevrolet, settling for a P2 tonight. So it is a full field from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and as it is the first non-restrictor plate race on the 2016 campaign, the road to a championship begins here tonight. And as always, we're happy to have you with us on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Pace car going to make the sharp left-hand turn, down and out of the way. Galota across the start-finish line. Green flag racing in Atlanta.
That's a pretty good jump right there for the 86. Look at Logan Clampett on the outside. He's going to be able to drop in right behind him, secure that second spot as that top line right now having some trouble getting going. It's all started right there with the 36 of Bentley Glazer. Top four now going to be single file as the 41 looking to get by Bentley Glazer, and that's E.J. O'Rourke right now. He will get that done. So the top five are all single file after turn number 4.
Everybody inside the top five, they play nice. The 36 machine, the Chevrolet to the outside of the racetrack of Bentley Glazer. Still stuck out of line, though, not getting any help. But now in front of him, Dan Roper up to the outside of the racetrack. He'll slide back a spot, give it to E.J. O'Rourke. In front of them, Matt Busa going to take over the number 2 spot from Clampett. And to the bottom, into turn number 3, side by side for the race lead already. After just 3 miles of competition, Galota going to have him at the start-finish line by a car length. But Matt Busa digging on the inside of the racetrack. Both the change for P2 and the change for P4 happened identically, and that is in turns 1 and 2. You'll see a lot of guys transition up to the high side as rubber gets put down. The inside is fast if the car can handle it, and that's where Busa was digging that time. No chance, though. Jumps back up in line down to turn 4.
Yeah, we already see a few guys up in the top 5 right now looking into the high side in turns 1 and 2, and we can see right now as Busa looks to the outside of Galota for the lead into turn number 1. A few of these guys already taking that chance, going way high up the racetrack, and you can see a few of them all the way up against that wall. It's a great place to run. You get a lot of speed off these corners, but it's very treacherous. One slip up and you're in the wall and you're having to fix some damage on that right side of that machine, and so far it's worked so good. As look at that 34 machine, Matt Busa, take the race lead off of turn number 4. It's not going to be. It's going to be hard fought though. Look at Joseph Galuta battling back, looking to the inside, but now he's got a mirror full as well with E.J. O'Rourke now, who's made his way up to that 3rd spot. He's trying to take second away off of turn 2.
Galota wasn't going to roll over and give that one back up. He looked to the inside, didn't get anything from it, and then as you mentioned, the 41 machine of E.J. O'Rourke started 7th. And now running in P2, he'll slingshot on the inside of the racetrack, and out to 2nd he goes. They call it Hot Atlanta for good reason. It's 113 degrees on track. It's heating up just outside the top 10. 3 wide with the 2 of Chase Cabry in the middle. The 1 of Trey Ensign all the way up to the fence. That'll make it another set. A 3 wide with that 8 machine of Adam Gilliland slicing through the middle, now sliding back down to the bottom. So while things are still hot up front, Matt Busa pulls out 5 car lengths in front, and all eyes swing back outside the top 10.
Yeah, that was definitely, that all started with that 21 machine of R.J. Williams having trouble in 3 and 4. Almost lost it. Had a little bit of contact from behind, able to keep it straight, but that clogged everything up on the corner exit of turn number 4. And a real good piece of driving by a whole bunch of these guys, able to sort out the mess right now. And just ahead of the 21, look at the 2 of Chase Cabry, starting to make some ground up right now as he makes his way around Alan Elwood. That's for that 8th spot now as they fight off of turn 4.
Yeah, that battle continues to go on, and again, it sits about 2 seconds off of the race lead with Elwood on the inside of the racetrack. Started 11th, he's in 9th right now. He'll go 1 spot backwards, though. Edson on the outside of the racetrack going to make the move, and again, this is a multi-groove racetrack. You'll see the bottom, you'll see the top, and they're both going to work. Right now, that 11 machine goes up to the high side because that's where he got past. Now he gets past on the bottom, or at least that 60 machine of Byron Daly put up a good fight for it. Didn't get clear that time, so they go side by side for P9 and a battle in front of them with Cabry and Edson.
That's a whole lot of good racing right now going on, and it's all happening about the middle groove to the high side up towards the wall. These guys are battling side by side, and you got some more action just in front of them. Mitchell Hunt in that 71 machine. He's looking to make a couple moves right now. He just gets around the 44 of Logan Clampett. Now he's trying to make some work over Daniel Roper on the inside off turn number 4. They're going to battle it out side by side right now, heading back into turn number 1.
And flying under the radar, Andy, just in front of that, Brian Blackford, P9 to P4. He kind of snuck his way through the pack there in the less exciting of battles to pick up 5 spots so far and leaves the battle behind him. Mitchell Hunt gets it away from that 61 of Dan Roper. Roper to back down to P6 after he started in P5. Picked up a couple of spots on the opening lap. Some more problems for Logan Clampett. Started P2. He is back in 7th, but has no intentions of staying back there. He traces the back bumper of the 61 Ford Fusion and Dan Roper in front of him, and all the way up to the fence they go. Right behind them, Chase Cabry, the 11, Alan Elwood. 3 wide as we go. The 19 gonna stay high. We swing to the bottom, no problems for the most part. Everybody is able to get around Tyler Dalton, who now goes a 6th lap to the negative. Nothing settling down, though, in the middle of the pack, and we're tight. 44 and the 2 go side by side. The 1 and the 60 as well.
There's a whole bunch of racing going on right now, right around that 10th spot, and some good peaceful racing, we'll call it there. Hard fought, but these guys are giving each other just the amount of room they need to get the job done off the corner. Look at Adam Gilliland in that 8 car trying to make his way forward too, all the way from that 17 starting spot. Currently 12th, but he's going to make his way around Byron Daly, give him another spot to 11th as he looks ahead of him. Tries to get around these other 2 guys. A little slip up right there. We know 1 car, Trey Edson, had a little problem getting off of turn number 4. That's going to check up that 8 car, Adam Gilliland. He's going to lose all those spots he had already gained.
Yeah, the 8 machine was working hard, and there was a big slide by the 1. Good piece of driving, I will say, from Trey Edson to hang on to that race car. And it's bad news, though, for the 8 nonetheless. When he gets out of it, it could have been worse for sure, but there's going to be a little bit of front-end damage on that 8 of Adam Gilliland, and he's going to have to work with that as the night goes on. Battles continue inside of the top 15. The 60 of Byron Daly just outside the top 10, and now inside as he takes the number 10 spot away from Trey Edson and drops that 1 machine back to 11th. The Aftermath Motorsports Toyota trying to get some momentum back up. Don't think he's really going to be hindered by the contact with the 8 machine. It is right rear damage. Doesn't look all that bad, but that car is really slow since he got back going. By now, you should be able to get back up to speed as far as just losing that momentum, but he lost the spot to John Gorlinski, and he lost a spot as well to the 13 of David Comstock. A lot of that could be just trying to get back into your rhythm, getting your momentum built back up so you can get those lap times back. But there's a lot of battling contact. The 61 into the 44. Logan Clampett, those guys into each other at a turn 2, and they keep on going like nothing happened.
Yeah, that was the momentum on the high side for Logan Clampett in that 44, and he thought the 61 was going to stay down. Daniel Roper slid right up in his way. They made a little bit of contact, but they keep it going right now. That's been some intense battle over the last couple of laps right there. Chase Cabry right in the middle of it all as well, along with Alan Elwood, and they're all getting it done right now off of turn number 2, still continuing to battle back and forth. And just in front of these guys, Mitchell Hunt making another pass for a spot. That's up to the 4th spot now as he gets around E.J. O'Rourke. E.J. O'Rourke, he made a fast go for it there at the beginning of the race with the fresh tires. Made it all the way. Oh, we got trouble. The 11 car, Alan Elwood, off of turn number 4, gets out of shape, comes down in front of the field, and he's able to keep that straight. He's slow and off the pace right now as everybody starts to make their way around him.
Yeah, he got into the 60, or rather the 60 got into the back of him. Not sure the extent of damage on Byron Daly, but Daly's Chevrolet is torn up both on the front end from that contact and from the back end on the ensuing checkup. We send the outside is a line not that high up, but more so I'd say down in turns 1 and 2. Then you'll see down in turns 3 and 4. All that does, though, is create another slower car in the middle of this Pac-10, which is very, heavily dense. We've seen at least 2-3 packs, and you see just around P15. These guys have not gotten separated at all. Last week's winner, the 27, Ray Alfala, the Alfala Tech Ford Fusion. He's digging up through the field from 40th to 14th in just 18 laps.
That's some good piece of driving right there from Ray Alfala. Shows you why he's a 2-time Peak Antifreeze Series champion, and he's getting the job done right now as he works his way through there. A couple of those guys, though, in that little pack there, right around that 15 spot there. Trey Edson losing a ton of positions there after that damage has really slowed him down. He scored right now in that 21st position, just ahead of him. Byron Daly, again with some damage. He's scored right now in that 18th position. But both of those guys losing spots as we speak right now. You see the 20 machine getting around him. That's Chad Coleman. He's making his way around those cars too. So battles all around this racetrack, Evan. And that's what we're going to see as these tires continue to wear off of these machines. We work lap number 20 right now. This is about that point where you're really going to see who's been saving those tires and who's been using them up too quickly.
And we're starting to see that because, well, they have been at each other's throats. There's a lot more movement now up and down the racetrack, especially off the corner. You're seeing a lot of guys at the back end just not staying underneath them, and they're kind of having to feather the throttle, and that's killing them momentum-wise. But the top 10, I think, for the first time all night, are single file, if not just for a brief moment. They are. Small battle between John Gorlinski and David Comstock for the 9 spot. Comstock almost tapped. Case Cabry, big bobble from the number 2 Ford Fusion. He loses a lot of spots and contact there. 41 into the back end. They will slide out of turn 4 and 2 wide. Look at the 13 of Comstock. He'll take 3 spots down the front.
That's a great move right there by David Comstock, and that was a bold move right there. He just powered right by these guys as they all lost momentum off the corner, and that was Chase Cabry through the center of the corner, getting some help from E.J. O'Rourke in that 41, and both of those guys, I think, struggling at this point right now with the handling as they both continue to start to lose positions right now. You can see that 2 right there in the center of 3 and 4. Kind of have a little bit of a bobble there. He's going to lose that position now, and the fight is over as David Comstock secures that position. That's P7 for him. Look at that 27 right now. Ray Alfala still making some moves. He now goes to the inside of John Gorlinski. Pick him up another spot now as he continues his march forward all the way from 40th.
Matt Busa, the number 23 Toyota in front of the field. Going to keep the left side tires on the white line. And pit side, he comes. Close call with the 86 of Joseph Galota behind. The 54 going to be able to get it slowed down in time to come down for the first time. Service tonight, we talked about fuel strategy and tire strategy. Well, these guys are begging for Goodyear Eagles, and the 6 is going to cut him a break, let him into his stall.
That's a close one there. That just seems kind of early for these guys to come down. I know they're running a little smaller of a fuel cell, I believe, but this is definitely a call for the 34, Matt Busa. More of a tire thing than a fuel thing, I would imagine. This is one of those things that you're going to want to keep an eye on as well, because when he comes back out on the racetrack, he's going to be running about 2 or 3 seconds faster than everybody else. So that's going to give him a pretty good advantage. He was already in the race lead at the time. So once the cycle of pit stops happen, if they do happen, I mean, obviously we get a caution. He's going to be caught a lap down. So we'll have to take a peek at that. But caution's out on the speedway. We'll have to see who the cause of that is. That's what Matt Busa did not want to see.
And it's going to be the 05 of Brandon Wilkinson. I will note, Andy, I like your guesstimate there of 2 to 3 seconds, because I looked at a couple of guys and they were falling off at about 2.5. So right in the middle. Out a little bit, and he tried to catch it, and you catch it right when he was coming down off of the banking. He went up to the outside of the racetrack, smacked the right side into the safer barrier, and that brought out the first caution flag on the night. We mentioned that is not what Matt Busa wanted. He is now a lap down. He'll be given the opportunity to take the wave by, assuming that all your leaders come in. But even with that, he would find himself all the way at the back of the lead lap. The only positive is there's still about 140 laps left in this race, but it is most definitely not what he wanted to see. With that, pit stops now open first time tonight. Brian Blackford comes down. It is yellow flag service for all your leaders.
And I imagine, obviously, with this place and how many laps we've run so far, 26 laps, about 25 green flag laps, you're going to see all these leaders come down, get 4 tires and fuel, get back out there, and you're going to see a maximum grip for these guys for about 5 laps or so once we get the green flag going. But it looks like most of the leaders all getting into their box fairly well, and it looks like the 37 of Brian Blackford is going to be able to, he's got a little battle going on with the 91, but he will beat him off of pit road. First one off pit road. That's a great job by that. Pit stops have been good for Brian Blackford. Even last week at Daytona, him and Alfala working great together, and the pit stops were spot on for both of those guys, and so far tonight it's been the same.
The service going to come to a close. The 37 let us down, and the 37 going to lead us back out. The drivers that take 4 tires and fuel. It's an early yellow here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. John Gorlinski stays out, takes the bonus point for leading a lap. Expect him to be in for service, and it would pass things over back in favor of the number 37. We'll take this quick opportunity, step away, be back in a moment from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching the ProGeek Consulting Cup Series from Atlanta for the 250 miler. It's round 2 of 12 of the ASCORS 2016 campaign. More action on the other side on iRacing Live.
Ready and fire.
We're back live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lights are off on top of the American Childhood Cancer Organization. Ford Mustang GT base car getting up to the wayside this time. We'll have 29 laps down and still plenty to go in tonight's 250 miler for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Early yellow flag inside of the opening 25 has slowed us down. Matt Busa, who was in front before the green flag cycle of pit stops kicked off, gets the way by. He is back at a P35, and it'll be Brian Blackford in control inside of the front row. They head into the American Ethanol Go Zone. Green flag back in the air in Atlanta. Restart at lap number 30.
That was a real good jump by Blackford right there. Clampett able to drop down to the bottom side once again, just like he did on the opening green flag of the race. So good bounce back by him after falling back just a bit on that first green flag run. Top 4, though, looks like they're going to separate. Not quite. The 61 is there on the outside. Daniel Roper, he's going to lose that position. Look at the 86 moving up. Joseph Galata started on the pole, now finds himself in third off of turn number 4. Battle for that 4th spot. It's side by side right now at the stripe.
It might as well be Daytona because they're so tightly packed on the restart, and they're not going to spread out for a good 10 to 15 laps. We saw the 71 of Mitchell Hunt get stuck to the outside of the racetrack. He'll fall now behind the 61. Problems behind, though. Lap 31, down in turns 1 and 2. A lot of drivers try to get him wound up in time. Trar is facing backwards, trying to find a number on the machine in which all of that smoke and whatnot is centered around. It is problems, though, in turn number 2. And I believe it was the number 51 involved, if not him. At least one of the machines was that number 51 machine, and that would be the NOS Energy entry. Justin Fuller, that number 51 Toyota, goes around in the corner. It was not the only one involved, though. Contact in front of him with the number 10 and the 97. Andy, we have said 3 wide a couple of times tonight. This time it did not work out. The 97 up the bottom just didn't have enough room. And he turned that Teddy machine around, and they kind of went sideways in the corner for quite some time. Surprisingly enough, the 97, the 20, and the 10, they all hung on to it. They did get some damage, but it was the 51 and the 1 trying to avoid the initial contact. They went all the way around, call it a 6-car accident.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one right there, the 3-wide action. We talked about it with these tires fresh on the restart. These guys are going to get a little motivated to maybe make some passes they wouldn't be too so sure of with the worn tires, but with the fresh tires, they're looking to make the moves and get through the field as quickly as they could. And right there, just actually ran out of race room, and they ended up making contact. Fortunate enough, it wasn't more involved, and looks like a couple of them with some heavy front end damage, but more than not, it looks like the 51 car just more damage to the door than anything. So it looks like he'll be able to continue on. That's Justin Fuller in that 51 machine. So that's our second caution tonight. That one came pretty quick. The problem is, or the question is now, pit road, do you think we'll see some of these leaders? I think they'll stay out, and that they do stay out. So a majority of the top runners, they do stay out this time, and not surprised with that. They want to keep that track position.
Yeah, I did see a couple of cars towards the back, and I'm talking outside the top 20, kind of trickle down pit road, get some service. When you're that far back, why not? Get tires and hope that if you get a long green flag stretch, your tires last an extra 3-4 laps compared to the guys around you and in front of you. You pick up a couple of spots. It is not a huge gamble, but it is a strategy call nonetheless. Now past the lap 30 mark and about another 30 away at this moment, this time by. Actually going to be with 130 laps to go at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So Brian Blackford got out to a good jump. It's clamping to P2. We've talked about all the movement. Top 5 drivers on track. Still drivers that started inside of the top 10. Behind them, and then from there on back, you got a lot of big movers. I'm looking at Josh Parker in 7th. He started in 19th position. To Craig Stykes, who's running 10th, who started 23rd. Biggest mover still, though, is P15, Ray Alfala, who started this race back in 40th position. And he did the exact same thing when we saw Tuesday night's Sunday NASCAR Peak Interview Series race, but as well in Daytona last week, started second en route to his win. So you talk about being able to get the job done either way. P15 is still not leading the race, by all means. He's still got plenty to go. But getting that big chunk out of the way is so important, because the biggest thing, you can have a race-winning car start back in the back, Andy, but if we don't see a caution flag at all, you're not going to win, because by the time you get some of the slower cars out of the way, get up to the top 20, top 15, where you find the cars that you're more competitive with that are harder to pass, there's just no time left. So I think getting to the top 20, and if you can get top 15 like you did, great. Getting to that point as early as possible is key to giving yourself a shot.
Oh, it absolutely is. Like you said, the closer you get to the front of the field, the more the talent level is higher, and it makes it a lot tougher to pass those guys because you're running about the same lap speeds as everybody else. So it's definitely a lot tougher to make the passes once you get up to the front. But so far, so good for Ray Alfala as he's gotten up to that 15th spot here so far, and really didn't get a chance there on that start right there to see if he can make up some more ground. But I look here, especially with the fresh tires, to see him at least pick off about 3 or 4 more positions here awfully quick, and probably it won't be too long. We might see him right there in that top 10.
The lights go back off again. This restart get about 35 of 163 laps this evening into the books, and you see that 44 top side Logan Clampett scrubbing the tires. He's ready to rock and roll. Of the 43 drivers that started tonight's competition, we still have the top 39 on the lead lap, with 41 of them total still actively out on the racetrack. In fact, make that 42. Tyler Dalton returns to the track back in 42nd position. The only retiree so far, the number 60 of Byron Daly, who started P15. He'll walk away with shotgun in P43 for this second race on the season. That pace car going to go to the pit lane, and we'll go from 65 to 200. Brian Blackford to Logan Clampett, Joshua Galota, as well Daniel Roper and Mitchell Hunt. Inside of the top 5, can lead us back to it. Pace car down and away. Green flag under the flag stand they go. Great jump for the 37. Outside, caught sleeping. Here comes Galota for second.
Yeah, that was definitely a good jump on that outside. That was the worst start so far for Logan Clampett. He's going to fall back to third now, and he's going to find himself in a battle for that third spot as Mitchell Hunt now to the inside as they go side by side for third. right in front of him. Galota looking real tough, real strong early on after getting that pole, and he's been able to keep himself up there inside the top 5. Logan Clampett, though, with the momentum on the high side, he'll take over that 3rd spot. Mitchell Hunt now to 4th. The battle for the 6th spot now is you got Chase Cabry and the 61 of Daniel Roper. They're battling side by side in turn 1.
And battle continues on. 61 topside. How about some 3 wide? Middle for Josh Parker. Bottom for the 2 of Chase Cabry. And the outside using the banking all the way down 24 degrees and 3 stories high. Gave the run to Daniel Roper. And he'll get not only the spot for the 18, maybe, though, the spot from the 2. Yes, sir. What a move by that number 60 What a Machine. Move him back up to P5. Slides in right behind Mitchell Hunt. And then he goes on the outside, opens the door wide open for R.J. Williams on the inside. The 21 started top 10, runs P7 right now. He's kind of had a quiet night so far. He's on the bottom of Cabry as well. And behind them, you've got that 2 of Ray Alfala digging around the 27 of Ray Alfala, digging side by side with the 3 of Brad Patton. 2 wide, 2 rows deep, make it 3 rows deep now at a turn 4.
Yeah, that's amazing right there. We talked about it wouldn't be long till you get them in the top 5. Look at Ray Alfala now sitting 8th, looking for more now as they work their way through 1 and 2. He's going to pull up to the inside now with the 21 and the 61. He's going to make some quick work, looks like, at least for now, as they enter turn number 3. A couple more spots on the board for Ray Alfala. Move him up more and closer to the front now as we move him just about in the top 5 here as he tries to work his way around Mitchell Hunt in the 71. He's trying to give Chase Cabry in that 2 a push into turn number 1, but wow, what a piece of driving by Ray Alfala, all the way from 40th, now up there in the top 5.
And that's called digging. And again, on these restarts, everybody knows that this is the time that you can go. We get a long green flag stretch, which tonight doesn't seem like it's going to be much more than 30 laps, with the tires falling off at about 2 to 3 seconds after that much time on track. You know, you got to take advantage of what you're doing now. And at 3 of Brad Patton, way loose, coming off of turn number 4. He slides down to the grass. There may or may not have been contact with Dan Roper. I believe they stayed off each other. Good piece of driving to keep control of that number 3 Toyota. Loses a ton of spots, though. The battle for the race lead is on in turns 3 and 4. The 2 of Chase Cabry on contact. The 27 of Alfala. The 86 of Joseph Galota. Side by side, 2 rows deep, and 4 drivers within 1/10 of a second. It was Blackford's number 37 Ford at the start, finished on Cabry, though, gonna put his number 2 nose in front, drag race down the back.
That's a great battle right there, side by side. Blackford's going to give him that spot. He's not going to push the issue too much there. Let them go out, burn those tires off. That's probably what he's thinking at this point now. Chase Cabry, your new race leader, as they cross the stripe right there. Give him a lap lead. He's got to look out, though, in his rearview mirror as he's got a couple teammates now looking to battle with each other and looking to take over that top spot as they exit turn number 2. But Chase Cabry taking advantage of those fresh tires on this restart here, and he's doing a great job with that as he restarted in that 6th spot there on the outside lane, and he's able to take over the race lead on lap number 42. And right now he's starting to pull away, actually 3 car lengths now over second place.
And second place is not a done battle yet. And you hate to talk about the same names all night, but it's the same guys putting on a show. We mentioned Ray Alfala had gone 40th to 15th. He's now 40th to 3rd. He's picked up 12 spots since the drop of the green flag for our second restart, and he is all over the back end of Brian Blackford. Looked to the inside to 37, said no thank you, shut that door, and they'll stay single file, which is good news for Chase Cabry, who wants to open up some sort of a gap in front of the field. Side by side, a little bit behind these guys with the 57 of Craig Stykes, and on the inside, the number 18, Josh Parker, 3 wide, Busa up the middle. This one out of turn 2.
That's a great battle right there. You get the 3 wide action, and that's Matt Busa, who had to restart towards the back of the field, and he's trying to make his way up through the field as well, just outside the top 10. Right now, it actually looked like he'll be in the 10th spot there as he made his way around Greg Stykes. That'll give him another position. That will get him back up into the top 10 right now. So good recovery for that 34 machine. That's something he needed to do, and he needed to do it in a hurry, and he has done that. So we'll see if we can get that 34 back up towards the front of the pack. And some pretty good racing right there as the top 5 are all within a second. Change for second, though. as Ray Alfala was able to get around Brian Blackford. They just battled again there down the back straightaway, and this time at the stripe, Ray Alfala giving them that second spot still as they do battle and still try to chase down Chase Cabry.
Single file for the brief moment inside of the top 10, and although we say that if you take a look at a wide angle, you can say that although they're single file, they are all in a single file line and still tightly compacted down the backstretch. The top 10 drivers within 1.5 seconds of each other. Still about now 10 laps off of the restart, side by side with Matt Busa, 34. Looks to the outside, the 18 of Josh Parker. Nothing happening there. He's able to defend his spot, and we're going to see that plenty of times tonight. Somebody get on the bumper, use that draft to their advantage, stick a nose out. It might work, it may not work. But when you're running on the outside, the bottom is always there if you want to try it. Will it work? Well, maybe not, but it's there if you want the opportunity to try to make that and really force that issue. Right now, these guys are starting to feel those tires go away, and that's why you see they've single filed out.
Yeah, that's when the cars start to be unstable, when they start to wear out like that and they start to drift up, try different lines, and that's where you see these guys. We talked about it in that first run that some of these guys that really, one of them comes to name is E.J. O'Rourke, who currently right now in that 18th spot. He started 7th, but we saw him jump all the way up to that 2nd spot rather quickly. Then halfway through that run, just started to fall off, so he wore those tires out pretty quickly. So we'll see a lot of these guys start to come and go now. As we see Daniel Roper work to the inside of Mitchell Hunt. That is the battle for that 6th spot off of turn number 4. They're still side by side.
That battle continues on. Roper on the bottom, 71 top side at speeds of 190 plus down into the corner. You're getting up there into the speed range of Daytona and Talladega. Single file out again they go. Chase Cabry, I mentioned that the number 2, but she wanted to get out and get in front, and that's why he enjoyed the small battle between Ray Alfala and Brian Blackford. A gap no longer high off of turn 4, small boggle, and you can forget about that. You give Ray Alfala an inch, he'll take a mile to the race lead at lap number 51 from the back to the front for the number 27 Ford. Ray Alfala leads his first lap of the race. And a challenge from Blackford, going to fall short. The 2 are now out in front, and that number 2 just in behind, and the 37 in third. Single filing him out, but what a charge by that 27 Ford.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. All the way from that 40th starting spot. Didn't even qualify. Took the provisional. Makes his way all the way up through the field, and now you can call him the race leader as Chase Cabry starts to fall away from that. Look at Blackford now looking to the inside for that 2nd spot. He tried this about a lap ago. It didn't work. The 2 was able to keep the run on the outside and keep that momentum. And right now he's able to keep a nose as they battle side by side for that 2nd spot. When they battle side by side, it just brings the rest of the top 10 that much closer to him now. Blackford up to 2nd now. Now look at Clampett now to the outside of the 2. That's a battle for 3rd.
And we watch all of this inside the top 10. There is plenty of action outside the top 10, inside the top 20, inside of the top 30, and on. But these are the spots for the leading positions in tonight's event, and Cabry on the inside. You see, the inside is good into the corner. The outside is just too good, using 24 degrees of banking to their advantage off the corner. And after it looked like Cabry was going to get the spot, in fact, he loses it. That number 44 to Logan Clampett, who puts up the successful defensive move. And now the 61 to Dan Roper. Going to take P4 away from him, and he'll bring that 71 to Mitchell Hunt alongside with him. Again, you can always force the issue. The 2 did it there. This time it cost him 2 spots instead of going anywhere positive.
Yeah, it did. Just being bound up on that bottom lane there, it just wears your tires out that much quicker. He needed to get to the top side. He does now, and he's going to secure that 6th spot, at least for now, as the 86 of Galata is right behind him. Caution, though, is out on the speedway, and we got some trouble on the track. It looks like off of turn number 2, maybe, that we had some issues, but we'll see if we can not figure out who exactly that was. But some trouble already here. It's our 2nd caution of the night.
Looks like it was at a turn 2, and it was the number 51 NOS entry. Looking like the Kyle Busch Xfinity Series paint scheme on board. That Camry sideways off of turn 2. And when they get sideways, they're going to make that turn to the right. They try to step it up the hill. They try to hang back onto that car. And he ran out of room because he got into the outside wall. Came back down. It could have been a lot worse if he came down across the nose of the 3, but he came down just in front of the 3. So that 3 of Brad Patton, nowhere for him to go, gets into the back of the 51. He spins Justin Fuller out. Fuller in front of the field. At least 2 drivers going to pick up some piece of contact in that one. not the first time tonight. In fact, second time consecutively that 51 is involved.
Yeah, it is the second one that he's involved in, and we'll have to get down pit road and get some service done. The pit road is open, though, and everybody heading down that way. Ray Alfala, first one to his box. He will get his 4 tires and fuel and down and away. And for a starting position that he had, when he starts to come out of pit road, there's still guys coming in pit road, so that makes it pretty interesting for him as far as a pit stall for him to watch out all race long here. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but a good stop for him and his crew, and they're making their way down right now, and we'll see if we'll be able to keep that top position. It looks like the 89 of Matt Quick's actually going to beat everybody out of pit road. Not sure if he actually stopped or if he was just riding through the pits there, but the 89 of Matt Quick did beat him out of pit road, and we'll take a peek, and looks like the 89 just drove through the pit, so it looks like he was just trying to get through. E.J. O'Rourke stayed out to lead a lap, so a lot of different little things going on here, but I would imagine to see that 89 come down pit road here the next time by. I think he's just trying to avoid that penalty if you don't come down the first time on the lead lap. Typically, they'll give you a penalty on black flag, and you'll have to serve that under green flag conditions.
Yeah, so Quick takes to drive through, and it'll give the race lead back to Ray Alfala, assuming that everybody else that stayed out does come down. I will say Ryan Blackford gave him a run for his money. It was a drag race coming off of the pit lane. Nothing came from that. The 37 still the second driver off. And normally we'll see a caution flag, and we'll think, okay, do we see some strategy based on what we've seen in our opening 57 laps of competition? Now, I would say that 2 tires most likely not going to happen unless you got a screw loose somewhere.
Yeah, we won't go there. But, yeah, you're not going to see anybody try that. And unless we get a quick run, a 5 or 8 lap run towards the end of the race, you'll maybe see him come down and grab those 2 right side tires. But maybe that's a last-ditch effort for somebody outside the top 10 to maybe try to steal a top 5 finish away from somebody. So we may see that towards the end of the race. But this point of the race, we're not even at the halfway point yet. 4 tires of fuel is definitely the call for all these guys.
Quick does take over the race lead, and we saw this strategy implemented on Tuesday nights with the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series here on LSRTV, and the fact that you'll see somebody come down to the pit lane, drive through it. Timmy Hill liked to implement the strategy. You drive down to the pit lane, don't take service. That gives you the ability to pit at 1 to go. E.J. O'Rourke, who stayed out, took the bonus point for lead at a lap. He had to come down the most recent time by because pit road would be closed for him coming to the restart. Matt Quick drives through pit road. He picks up the bonus point, and now he can come down to the pit lane, get the most fuel out of anybody else, come down, put himself to the back, and it will hand the race lead off to Ray Alfala. So, well, it is a race where you want 4 tires and you want track position. Still a little bit of strategy and gamesmanship being played as the lights go off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, every point matters as far as this is concerned. We talked about in the pre-race show. You're going to take the cumulative of these 3 sections of this series and put everything together to figure out your champion, your overall champion at the end of the season. So every point matters for all these guys, and that could be the decisive edge that'll give you another spot in the points. And for all these guys, a bonus point like that is definitely the way to go. And for some of them, that's going to be the way that they're going to get it. But Ray Alfala, he's looking forward to this all the way from 40th to 1st, and now he gets to restart the whole field here today. But he's got his teammate right there to his outside. We'll see if they play a little game here on the restart to see if they can get themselves 2 before the one of Mitchell Hunt's able to get up there.
The advantage of being the control car on the inside is the fact that you can go from when the pace car dives down towards the pit lane coming off of the corner until you actually go through that entire American Ethanol restart box, and then the sim does actually throw the green flag. At that point, if our leader's not going, you can leave him, but that gives him a good 5 seconds. Doesn't sound like a lot on paper. It's plenty of time to dictate the start of the race. The pace car down and away into the restart box. Green flag in the air. Alfala takes off. Blackford, though, on the gas pedal. Looked like he was a little slow. Slow gear shift, though, for that 7-1 Mitchell Hunt. Going to open up the inside. 37 takes P2. Roper wants the challenge on the outside, but getting up the speed the longer way around is not the place to be. It'll be, though, nose to nose for the battle in 3rd.
Yeah, side by side, they battle their way into turn number 3. Right behind them, Logan Clampett trying to figure out which lane to go. Roper's going to give up that position. They'll drop in behind Mitchell Hunt. Now Logan Clampett looking to make a move to the inside. The top 6 now, single file, the battle for 7. That's side by side into turn number 1. You got Adam Gilliland, you got Chase Cabry right there side by side as Cabry now works away. Now they're going to look 3 wide as Gilliland threads the needle through the middle right there off of turn number 2. That's a bold move, but it can happen when you have fresh tires.
And the good news is he'll be clear to the top by the time he hits the corner. The ProGeek 86 Chevrolet behind him. Joseph Galota is going to be able to slide in line. Look at this pack, though. The 71, the 44, the 61, and then the 8, the 86, the 2, even the 57. 7 or 8 drivers throw a blanket over top of them. Contact up high. Nobody going to get out of shape. They keep going at 186 miles an hour, playing a high-speed game of full contact chess. That time it worked.
Yeah, that time it worked with some wear on the tires. It might not have worked because the grip might not have been there. But look at Chase Cabry on the bottom side. Still, he makes the bottom side work early in the run. Right now, he's struggling. It looks like a little bit right now with the handling as they work their way back into turn number 1 and unable to get around Roper. And look at him again, 3 wide. Gilliland goes to the middle. He's going to pick off 1, maybe 2, make it 3 spots as they work his way down.
And he's just basically riding the middle of the racetrack in between everybody.
Yeah, he's taking a spot that nobody wants right now. Everybody looking for the high side or the bottom, and he says, well, why not? It's available real estate, and I'll take it right now as everybody makes it single file there. Look, 2 spots just behind him. Matt Busa finally back up there challenging for a top 5 position. A good job by him to rebound from that early pit stop that caught him 1 lap down, and now he had to work his way all the way back from the back of the field. And he has done that and got himself back in contention for this race. And he's working on the outside now on the 71 and Mitchell Hunt. That's another position for that top 5. And he's going to nose him out, clear him now as they head to 1.
And all of this, again, is just the top 10. There's plenty more behind. We should have mentioned Ray Alfala. He's gone. The number 27, Bashid, 1.5 seconds out in front of the field. Clampett now in 3rd, trying to get to P2. Brian Blackford's got his hands full because Adam Gilliland did not settle with the 5 spots he's gotten. He wants to get to the podium for the first time tonight after starting in 17th.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He's making good work of it with the fresh tires as they work their way through 1 and 2 on the high side right there. You can see him actually cut it down from center off, try to get somewhat of a run. He's going to be able to pull close to the back bumper of Logan Clampett. As Clampett now looks to the inside of Blackford. That's for 2nd as they race their way through 3 and 4. And while they're doing this, and Alfala just keeps on checking out. The question, though, is he wearing his tires out, or is he got something still left in there? Or are these guys going to be able to catch him here in the next 10 or 15 laps? We will see about that.
Now we're starting to get towards the tail end of this short, green flag stretch on the tires. They can go much further on field, but the thing is, they want a race car they can get to the end with. And eventually, these tires get to the point that they do so here very quickly. We talked about it being hot. Atlanta is 113 out on the racetrack. No, we don't have the low downforce package on the sim yet. The 2016 Cup package, though, is just around the corner. That's going to happen in the middle of this 2016 ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. That's going to be a big change that we're going to be talking about in a couple of weeks' time. But rubber is being put down on the track, and these guys are starting to have to move around a lot more. Case in point with that number 8 Toyota. And this is just a small portion of what we're going to see tonight, but we have passed not the halfway point, but we've knocked us down to double digits left to go inside of the final 95 from the Atlanta Motors Midway. It is Ray Alfala in P1. Back in 39th position is Matthew Chafe. He would be the next driver at risk of losing his lead lap status, something that we haven't really had to deal with all that much tonight, Andy, is lap traffic.
Yeah, we haven't. The runs have been just long enough that it hasn't been to that point where the leader has caught up with the back tail end of the field, but with the lap times Ray Alfala is putting down, it's not going to be long, and you're going to start seeing him start clicking away some of these guys here. About half a lap now from catching that 52. Matt Quick in the 89 also, we saw him lead that lap under the caution and then come down for service. He's back there as well. along with Chad Coleman in that 20 car. So a few of these guys, about a half a lap at this point, and the way we've been running, that's about only another 10 or 15 laps, and they'll have that 27 knocking on their back door. So we'll keep an eye on that as Ray Halfali continues to pull away. He's pulled away about 2/10 over the last 2 or 3 laps here. So doing a good job trying to pick away at this lead that he's got. And for the rest of the field right now, I'm not sure they really want to see him start checking out on him this early.
And this race can be blown wide open if we start to go green and then we stay green through a cycle of pit stops and on. And when we do, the laps are going to start to wind down very quickly. Talked about how we just got past lap 63 where we took 100 laps to go. Very shortly, we'll be at lap number 100. We're going to be even closer to crossing the halfway point in this race. And again, from there, it starts to be amplified. You run out of time. Instead of thinking you've got all this time, you work under 3 early caution flags. Next thing you know, you're down to your third to last pit stop, your second to last pit stop. And if you're still outside the top 10, outside the top 15, what else can you do besides hope that you get a yellow and try to make adjustments on that car? Good battle inside of the top 10. The two of Chase Cabry fighting with the number 18 machine outside Josh Parker. It is a battle for the number 7 spot on track, and Cabry going to fall to 9th now as he does lose that battle. That 2 machine has lost 4 spots in the last few laps.
Yeah, he did. He looks like he got loose off one of the corners and just lost the momentum and was able to get passed actually by Mitchell Hunt, Daniel Roper, and then now Josh Parker. And seems like for the time being, he's gotten it settled in right now as he holds about a 1 car length lead over Joseph Galata there for that 9th position. So he's struggling a little bit as this run goes on, but we know he's got speed in that. Oh, sounds like somebody's having some trouble on the racetrack. The 38 was the one that sounded like he had some Justin Weaver having some issues, and there he is off of turn number 4.
Middle
having
of the
some
track.
trouble here, yeah. Tough
And
break.
just before green flag pit stops, again, I said if you get to that point, you can blow this thing wide open, and that looked like some sort of a mechanical issue or a technical issue on his end of things. Into the corner goes Justin Weaver on lap 73, Andy, and that car just stopped turning, went straight up the hill. He came back down, got into the 58. Justin Fuller gets tagged, the 51, for the 3rd time in an accident tonight. Scott Minton gets hit. That number 50 machine slides down to the grass. So it is another single car incident that escalates and picks up another few drivers. And that is what everybody but Ray Alfala wanted to see, because his gap is now gone. And they head back down pit side for another cycle of service.
Yeah, they'll start to get that. Hopefully we can get the replay up for you on that one. We did see that up on your screen there. Had some problems with that earlier in the race, but that's all fixed. But yeah, right there, it just looked like almost a right front tire blew out on that car. And I know that isn't realistic in the sim yet, but that's actually just the characteristics that it showed of what happened right there for him. So pit road is open. Everybody heading back down again to get those tires. Ray Alfala again with that 40th pit stall there on the grid, so he'll be the first one into his pit stall. 4 tires for him, and he'll be out and away. But like I talked about, you can see more cars coming down pit road now, and as he's trying to leave. So that's one thing he's going to have to keep an eye on for that, is just hopefully that all these guys make it their way in and he has no trouble on exit. But look at Adam Gilliland. What a stop by that 8 machine, as it looks like him and Brian Blackford, they're going to beat out Alfala. So slow stop for that 27. A whole bunch of cars going to beat him out.
And that comes with the fact that that number 27 is in the number 40 pit stall. He comes in, he is in the 4th stall onto the pit lane, and when he's getting back out on track, there are still drivers towards the tail end of the lead lap that are still coming down pit lane and getting serviced, and that puts that 27 way behind the 8 ball. It wasn't a bad pit stop. He didn't overshoot it or anything. It's just a factor of being stuck back in traffic.
Yeah, so all these guys now with their pit stops all done, they'll get their tires. That's going to be, we'll see where he cycles out here for Ray Alfala after he lost a whole bunch of positions to a bunch of guys there. Some great job by Brian Blackford. His crew, they were able to get him out. And you look at the 34, Matt Busa actually beat out Ray Alfala as well. So as the scoring loops start to tick away, we'll see there. Alfala lost 6 positions on that. So he went from a 1.6 second lead all the way back to 7th here on this restart.
And we'll see, not that he hasn't had to deal with traffic so far tonight. A lot of the time, if you see somebody that was riding so far up in front of the field like he was, the question is always when they get tossed back to the wolves, if you will, and find themselves battling in traffic, the question becomes, how do they work that traffic? Can they get back up to the field? Well, Ray O'Falla has shown that it doesn't matter if it's 40th, 30th, 20th, or 1st. He can work traffic. He's going to be P7. These other guys are going to be very keen on finding where that number 7 is. I think the difference is, Andy, when the 7 has been going up to the field, especially at the front, he did so more so in the middle of a green flag stretch than on the restart. If he tries to power through the field like he did before, well, we're 2 and 3 wide. That's where things could get fun. So we'll see how this shakes out. E.J. O'Rourke implementing the same strategy as he's out in front of the field, currently leading behind that American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car. He did come down pit side, but everybody else was in. He elected to not take service. He'll dive down this time and hand the race lead off to that 37 of Brian Blackford.
So Blackford, again, this will be the second time he'll get to restart the field here as the field gets jumbled back up here as the lights go off on the pace car. Look at Adam Gilliland. Good rebound for him up in that second spot. Started 17th on the grid. That last run there made some real bold moves going 3 wide to get himself up into the top 10, up into the top 5. So he's doing a great job so far here tonight to get himself up into contention. Now we'll be able to see what he's got here for these guys as he's going to restart on the outside lane. Problem is on the restarts, that outside lane hasn't been able to at least get the jump that they need to at least hang with the leader for the time being. They've done good enough at least to get that second spot for the most part, but we'll see if Adam Gilliland can get the job done on the high side and maybe take that lead away from Brian Blackford on this restart.
And Brian Blackford loves to be in the race lead. It is a great story behind that number 37, Phoenix Society for Burn Survivors Ford Fusion. Had major complications as far as an injury that he sustained back in the 2015 racing season. Most notably, make sure to give him a like on Facebook as well, Slick Angle Motorsports. It's a great story. He wants to get the ASCORS victory lane. He wants to be back, and he's back at 100% right now. Track competitiveness-wise, he'll be in the lead. Pace car goes down. 37 on the loud pedal. Green flag back in the air. 78 down. 79 to the works. And that 8 machine right on it. Gilliland slides into P2, and that 44 Clampton peeks to the outside. We're 3 wide already. 18 in the middle, and O'Falla trying the high side. It does not work, though. O'Falla drops 3 wide. Now 2 rows deep at a quarter number 2.
That's some amazing racing right there around the top 10 area there, 3 wide as they still continue to do that. 2 rows deep. Look at how Fallon power it on the outside right there. He's right on the outside of Trey Edson. Into the wall. And that's going to stack everybody up right behind him. They're all able to keep it straight right there, but damage to that right side of that 27 machine. We'll see if it really hinders his speed here as they continue on, but it was getting real close and real tight right there for a while. And then that right there off the wall is going to separate everybody. But just in front of these guys, around that top 5, we got 2 rows deep now of 2 wide racing at 18 of Josh Parker now to the inside of Roper. He's looking for that 5th spot off of 4.
And Parker got that spot by making it 3 wide and forcing the guy to his rightmost outside up against the fence to back it off. Now battle for the race lead. We'll go 3 wide. Blackford in the middle. Clamp it on the bottom. Gilliland top side. What a race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Still 3 wide. Down to turn number 3. Clampett getting back out of it on the bottom. Can he keep it nose to the 37? No, not enough momentum. And we now swing 2 wide, 2 rows deep as Busa challenges for 3rd. It's Gilliland with the nose for P1.
Making a great move on that high side with that 8 car. Here comes Busa now. Blackford slides up there. They make some contact off of turn number 2. That'll keep that 37 in the 2nd spot for now, but Matt Busa looking strong on that high line right now, and he's going to work at it again here off of turn number 4. He's going to get to the outside now as they battle side by side for the race lead. Back into turn number 1. Lots of action up here at the front.
And I mean, this is why these guys are the best of the best. You saw a whole lot of that. And up there, Ray O'Falla, who got hit. He is still 3 wide. Look at the one in the middle. Trey Edson up the middle. The 71 top side on the outside. That is Mitchell Hunt, 3 wide. And 3 wide in front of them with the 3, the 14, and the 61. And that's for P11. Battle for the race lead now starts to fan out as we get real tight off of corner number 2. They're too wide, just as they were on the drop of the green flag. Nobody is able to get away from each other. Thinking about some more to 3 wide. Brad Patton backs out of the throttle. They'll stay 2 wide, a couple of rows deep, but this racing just continues to impress.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, we're just basically at the halfway point of this race, and they're all racing like it's the last lap, and the car control of these drivers is just absolutely phenomenal right now, and they're all getting it done at a place, especially when you talk about the tire fall off and how much these cars can move and shift and change positions through the corner, and they're just doing a great job hanging on to it here, and some great battles going on right there at that top 10 area. Ray Alfala trying to get it done with that damage on the outside, or on the right side of his car, I should say, as he's still trying to pick these guys off, and I think that damage is hurting him just a bit, because any other restart we've had, he's been able to really put the jets on, and it seems right now maybe that aerodynamics on that right side has really hindered that 27's progress towards the front.
And he can come down to the pit lane, try to get that machine serviced upon, but at least now you're going to have to deal with it. We're still 2 wide. The 3 of Brad Patton is out in front of it a little bit. The 61 machine, just 1 additional row back, and Daniel Roper, he's trying to get by, but that 86 on the bottom of Joseph Galota will not let him get by. The outside, though, just too strong coming off of the corner, and the 1 machine of Edson going to get a spot away from the ProGeek Chevy, dropping Galota now back to P12, and single file for a brief moment. Alfala down to the white line, trying to go up and down the racetrack, searching for some grip. He was able to get a couple of spots back after the contact. Right now has kind of found himself stuck at a P8 for the time being, with a mirror full of Brad Patton. But in front of the field, Gilliland by 2 seconds in front of the rest of the field. Matt Busa is on the back. Declan, though, just 3/10 behind the top 2, pulling away.
Now, the top 2 have really pulled away right now as we go on board the 8 machine. Looking back at Matt Busa, trying to make a run for that top spot. And those 2 guys have literally checked out from the rest of the field. They're over 1 second now back to the 44, Logan Clampett, who finds himself in a battle as well with Brian Blackford in that 37 machine off of turn number 4. And Blackford looking to the inside. He's trying to make something happen. He's unable to do that now as they head to turn number 1. And Matt Busa really closed the gap on that last lap there. He's looking on that high side, trying to make it work. Might have a battle for the lead here off turn 2.
34 digging to the bumper. Does he look to the inside? Not yet. Does he sweep to the bottom? No. Busa going to take his line now through the middle. Wind it up as he lets off early. He'll dig coming off of the corner. Good run on the 8 of Gilliland, but still nothing. He'll trace the back bumper now to the inside. In the second part of that dog leg on the front straightaway, we go side by side at lap number 90. Gilliland top side, Busa to the bottom of the racetrack. They're door to door.
Door to door for the race lead, and back into turn number 3. Top side with a slight advantage off of turn number 2. That's going to give Gilliland a slight advantage through the corner right now. Matt Busa trying to hang on to that bottom side, but that momentum on the top side is going to keep the advantage right now for that 8 car. They're still going to battle wheel to wheel, though, as they head back into turn number 1. The battle for the lead just heating up as Blackford trying to close in on these 2 as they race side by side, and it doesn't look like they're going to give each other anything now as they continue side by side back into turn 3.
And the 8 is going to wave the white flag out the driver's side window and let that 34 go on by. Matt Busa to the race lead for the first time tonight at lap number 91. And from 3rd on the grid and from the top of the practice charts, it's been a quiet night for him. Another driver that I mentioned in that conversation who had started inside of the top 5, top 10 spots that was quiet earlier on in this competition has since fallen back a little bit. But I was talking similar situation for a guy like a Justin Fuller who was quiet early. He's making a splash now, and in front, side by side contact. Matt Moose sideways on the apron in turn number 3. He will hang on after he and the 2 of Chase Camry got into each other into the corner. Another spectacular piece of driving to hang on, but he'll lose a bunch of spots. He's still got a race car underneath him, though. That's the good news. He falls back to buy that 7 to Rachel Hunt in 12.
Yeah, when you heat those tires up like that with a slide through the corner, it makes it real difficult to keep that thing under control the remainder of the run. So we'll see if the 14 can do that. As up front, just a few more spots there. Ray Alfala trying to get around Daniel Roper. They were battling side by side for the last lap or two right now. That is the battle for that 7th position as they close in on the 2 of Chase Cabry. That's all looking good as the 27 machine trying to use that bottom line right now to get the advantage, and he's going to have them not quite clear off of turn number 2. Roper battling hard now for that stuff.
Caution flying, gonna fly, lap number 94. A lot of smoke down by 1 and 2 in the back straightaway. The problem's gonna come for the 21 of R.J. Williams. His Ford facing the wrong direction halfway down the backstretch here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Gonna bring out another yellow flag. That one is a single car accident. Looked like that Snyder Ford a little bit high into the corner. That's one of the risks you take of running the top side. Haven't really talked about it all that much tonight, Andy. Clips the fence, and the cars get stuck in the fence so easily. You got to give it a lot of wheel to bring it back down. And by the time that car got outside of that safer barrier, the wheel was jerked so far to the left that that back end just went all the way around. He did a good job of saving it. He did a good job of not coming back up into the fence or hitting anybody else. He doesn't hit anything, but he does go around to a complete stop on the back there for triggering the yellow.
Yeah, he did. That was a really good job, not coming back up into the racetrack racing surface there. That would have caused a lot of trouble for those guys coming off of turn number 2 and able to keep it straight. Not too much damage on that car, so he'll be able to get it fixed up somewhat here on pit road this time, as pit road is open. All the leaders heading back down pit road on lap number 96, and Matt Busa leading the way.
Pit service is inbound, and does it give us a new leader this time? Busa all the way down to pit stall number 3. Problems for Logan Clampett. P4, the 44, overshoots his entry. If he does stay and take 4 tires, it's going to cost him at least 5 to 6 spots. No challenge at all, though. Easy. That foot number 34 machine still in front off of the pit lane with 4 tires and fuel. Battle for P2. It looks like Gilliland going to get second. Alfala going to take third. And Ryan Blackford going to be P4. That is a little bit of a gain for that 27. I believe he picked up 2 spots, at least.
Yeah, that was good right there. He needed that. Looks like they may have fixed a little bit of damage, but not too much there on that car. He decided to take the track position. The car was still fast. We'll have to see what he can do with it up towards the front of the field. He was picking off spots, just not as quickly as he was over the first part of this race. So we'll see what happens here on this restart as he comes out in that 3rd spot. And a good job by the pit crew to get him out and get him back some of that track position that he lost on the track.
And we always talk about mistakes costing you time and taking away opportunities from you. Well, on this one, being down onto the pit lane, and for Ray Alfala in this case, a good pit stop does the opposite, and therefore it makes time back up as opposed to the time that he had lost on the caution flag most prior. It's going to put him back inside of the top 5 and run in P3. He was P8 at the time of the caution, so I said at least 2 more than that. He picked up 5 spots, and he'll put himself in a pretty good spot, which would be on the inside of row number 2, just behind the control car, which will remain Matt Busa, Andy.
Yeah, Matt Busa will bring us back to the green flag this time, and good job by him to come back through this whole thing here, and we'll get him back up towards the front here, and we'll see if he can hang on to it. He's been a fast car, especially on the restarts here and with the fresh tire, so we'll see if he'll be able to pull away from Adam Gilliland and Ray Alfala there in the 3rd spot. We'll have to see what happens here as we go.
Lights on a pace car still on. We look for the 1 to go this time by, and we're past the halfway point, so let's take a look at our ProGeek consulted midway race break for the ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250. It is race 2 of 12 in the 2016 Season 1 Championship for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, and it is Matt Busa out in front to Adam Gilliland P2 and Ray Alfala, who most doubtably has been the fastest driver so far all night long. Brian Blackford just behind in 4th, Josh Parker in 5th, Chase Cabry, Logan Clampett, Brad Patton, Daniel Roper, and Alex Monteferranti inside the top 10.
11th is Mitchell Hunt. Trey Edson sits 12th. 13th is Greg Stykes. Alan Elwood is 14th. 15th, David Comstock. John Gorlinski is 16th. 17th to Brian Day. 18th to Bentley Glazer. Rich Jett is 19th, and Jordan Hightower is 20th.
21st right now is Adam Benefield. Behind him, E.J. O'Rourke in 22nd. Doy Woods, Matthew Moose, as well as Josh Jones, Josh Connors, Chad Coleman, R.J. Williams, Greg Spears, and Jesse Kovacs in the top 30. '31st as well, going to be Tyler Tucker, Matthew Quick, Joseph Galota, Justin Fuller, Brad Newman, Austin Jones, Matthew Chafe, and John Wilco. The 38 drivers on the lead lap. Brandon Wilkinson, 1 lap down in 39th. Tyler Dalton, 8 laps down in 40th. Scott Mitten, Justin Weaver, Byron Daly, 41st through 43rd. Pace car going to dive down and away. This time by with 65 laps to go in Hotlanta. Green flag back in the air. It's a drag race across the start-finish line. Busa to turn number 1.
Busa with a great jump there. Adam Gilliland was able to keep a pretty good spot right there in that second spot. He's going to lose it, though, to Ray Alfala. Now look at Alfala down to the bottom side for the race lead as they're 2x2, 3 rows deep now, the top 6. Looking to battle out right now as Ray Alfala to the inside of Matt Busa. Not going to be able to hold that on for just too long now. Top side's going to get the advantage.
Slide.
Wow, that was close right there.
That talk about cutting it close. If he was a half a foot more forwards or a half a foot backwards, he would have taken out the 8 or that number 37. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. What a close call.
That was a close call. He's going to regain the lead, though, as Adam Gilliland's going to give him the push off of turn number 2. And Ray Alfala is going to try to battle still on that bottom side right now for that 3rd spot. And he's going to fall back into it now as they go almost 3 wide now. If you look back here at the top 5, they're going to settle it out. They almost did it right there. Logan Clampett made a good move to back out of it right there and give that 61 that position as they raced into turn number 1. Daniel Roper now trying to make some moves to the 18. He's going to be side by side now, heading for fourth place now into turn number 3.
And the outside again on that first lap, not the place to be, but once you get that speed built up and you can use the runs off the corner, it is most definitely a fierce passing lane inside of the first 5 laps, and you saw Parker use it to get up the 4th. I always like to talk about who started where and where they run now. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th started 17th, 40th, and 19th. You talk about comers and goers, these guys are hustling.
They absolutely are hustling right now, and Chase Cabry has actually moved his way back up there inside the top 10, doing a good job here with the fresh tires and a good rebound for him after that last run, falling back quite a bit. And just in front of him, side by side still, Logan Clampett using the high side, that momentum to try to keep his, or try to get that position away from Josh Parker. And we get Chase Cabry on the bottom. He's going to split him now and go to the bottom. 3 wide for just a moment there off of turn number 2, but that 18 lost all the momentum. Josh Parker going to fall back 2 positions right there as Chase Cabry takes over that position, puts him up into that 5th spot, knocked that 16 back and now, or that 18 back, and now Blackford looking to get around him for that 6th spot here back into turn 1.
And it wasn't as close as it was in turn 4 a couple of laps ago, but Parker doing the same thing, down to the white line, sliding way up high. He does it again that time, and Blackford tries to cross over the 18, blocks him off the corner, and Brad Patton to the inside. He'll take a spot from Blackford. He'll take the spot from Parker. No, they're on each other's door, and the 18 going to fight back topside. Gets that run, center off once again, is able to defend the number 6 spot on track. But I'll tell you what, the 18, well, he's making me nervous going down and high and everything in between. He knows what he's doing. He showed us so far tonight. Just a little bit too close to call. I think that's the difference, Andy. Cross it over the lap 100 marker as we work lap 105 and 163 tonight. We're not playing around anymore. These guys mean business.
Well, they absolutely mean business, and it's going that way all throughout the top 15 right now. They're side by side all over the place. A pretty good battle with that 4-car. Brian Day, we hadn't talked about him starting in the 38th spot. He's up to 13th right now, trying to work that inside around the 57 of Greg Stice, and he's going to make something happen here off turn number 2. He's going to have enough to at least keep that position for now. He'll probably clear him into turn number 3. So there's side-by-side action all throughout this field, even just ahead of these guys as well.
And maybe some 3 wide. No, it looks like Stein's going to decide the 2 wide is good for now. He stays on the back of the 4 in front of him, but Brian Day in front, a little bit slow coming off of the corner, and Stykes had a big head of steam, and that one battle for 13th. How about the lead, though? 1, 2, and 3. They're out by a second to fourth on back. It's Busa, Gilliland, and Alfala. 3 of the fastest cars all night long. 3 drivers that have led laps tonight. That 27 is closing just as the 8 is closing. It could very shortly be a 3-car battle for the race lead in front of the field, and behind them, not like things are any slow back there, the 18 and the 37 side by side for P6. Blackford trying to defend, but it's Parker on the attack.
Now Parker's going to take that momentum, take that spot as they're single file now racing their way back through the corners here. And look at the 61 of Roper now trying to make the move across the nose of Mitchell Hunt. He'll continue that position now as the top 10, though. They're all single file now as they work their way through 1 and 2. It seems like everything a little bit now has settled down just a bit, at least for the top runners, and some great action all over the racetrack, and that's typically what Atlanta brings to everybody.
And they'll take advantage at the 7 seconds down the backstretch to catch their breath and get ready to go at it once again. Outside the top 10, 2 wide, a couple of battles. The 13, the 57, the 83, the 14. This going on about 10th through 17th. Like we said, the battling is not just restricted to the drivers running inside of the top 10. But I'll tell you what, Andy, Daytona last week, Atlanta this week, there's been some exciting stuff. We're fans of this, well, we're calling it, and we know that Brian Schoenberg, the name behind this ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, he's a fan of it as well. He's been taking in the action so far tonight from Atlanta, and want to toss him on the mic for a moment. Brian, are you having as much fun as we are checking this out? These guys have been absolutely on each other for the past 111 laps so far. I'm loving it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun watching it, but I think that might be my worst mistake ever because it is scary to watch this type of action because, I mean, there's just been stuff going on everywhere. Not that it's been bad, but it's definitely had my blood pressure up a little bit. The whole point behind ASCORS is we wanted to really make it that type of league where it's something where people wake up and they go, oh, it's Sunday. Oh, cool, I can run the ASCORS ProGeek Cup Series race, you know? So whether we've gotten to that point or not yet, it's a little too soon to tell, but that's where I wanted to head towards. And right now, I mean, there's just action everywhere.
We've been trying to get you up here since the drop of the green flag, and we're like, well, there's still like 9 battles on track, so we'll try to work something out. And the battles continue for sure. I will say, and I think Andy could agree with this, that we already look forward to Sundays, and that's just after one plate track race. But Atlanta is no walk in the park. These guys have been going at it, and I know we have a large viewing on Sunday nights here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. There's plenty of people tuning in that are just fans of sim racing. There's plenty of fans tuning in that are fans of LSRTV. But there's also people watching that know a lot about the history of this ASCORS series. For those that don't, what got you guys here?
Well, basically, what got us here is it was something where the original ASCORS was running back in NASCAR Racing 2003 season from about 2006 through halfway through 2009, and there was just something special about the league itself. We made a big deal about teams, we made a big deal about close competition, and just something where people could run and have fun with it. I think we almost have trouble on the racetrack here, but we wanted to really recreate that, and luckily iRacing makes it a lot easier to do as opposed to back in the day 10 years ago. So I mean, it's way easier to get followers and having, you know, a great company like LSRTV broadcast it. So it's been a heck of a ride to put it back together. Just want to keep it going and just build on it from here. We want this to, you know, only be the beginning of it. And, you know, watching you guys tonight, having this in 1080p looks incredible. So a lot of impressive things, and you guys are a big part of that as well.
I know Cisco's having a lot of fun down in the producer chair. First time tonight, 1080p at 60 frames per second. A part of our a bit of a reboot here and reamp for 2016. Changed for the race lead a couple of laps ago. Ray Alfala's number 27 back to the front and a battle behind in third. Adam Gilliland going to lose that spot to the 44 of Logan Clampett. A lot of the names in this series, though, Brian, big names, drivers that we see competing in the NASCAR Peak Entry Series, drivers that we see competing here on LSRTV in the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series as well. The level of competition in this series, I think it would be safe to say, is unmatched. Outside of that, though, what else makes ASCORS so unique?
The thing that I really think makes it unique is actually the field, that you were talking about here. You have a lot of the peak antifreeze series drivers in here, and you have a mix of people that, it might be one of the biggest leagues they've ever raced in, period. And you have some of the originals that raced in the ASCORS Racing League back in 2006, 7, 8, 9. You look at like Justin Weaver, Scott Mitten, Tyler Dalton. I mean, they're all damaged in this race and everything, but that's just some of the names, to say the truth. I mean, even Ray Alfalla and Brian Blackford were originals in the first league. Josh Parker's another name that really reaches out to me. I mean, you have a lot of old members from the original league coming back to run this, which has really made it a very unique driver roster, mixed in with, like we were saying, the peak drivers and everything like that. So, I mean, I love to really get back out there and race with them, and, maybe not here, but maybe someday we'll run the Peak Series again. We'll leave that up to the iRacing greats for that. But really what makes this league unique is the driver roster. It really is unique. I mean, there's nowhere else out there where you can have that mix of old original league members mixed in with the peak drivers and everything else. It's an interesting roster, and I'm very proud of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're putting on a show here tonight, and a lot of people, would refer to a series like this, something that the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series should be like. We mentioned tonight is just round 2 of 12 in 2016, but there's plenty more than just 12 races going on in 2016 as a whole. After these first 12 races are done and 2016 Season 1 draws to a close, there's still plenty more racing coming everybody's way here on LSRTV. Talk to us about that 2016 championship.
So basically, the way we're doing it is kind of unique. We decided to break the season up into 3 different portions. That way people don't get, burned down. People that may have missed, this first go-around can always join it later on. I'm sorry, I'm watching the races. We're going here. The 71 spinning through the grass here. We're going to have a yellow here. We got trouble here. Oh, wow.
I was going to say, that was about to be another save. We've seen a couple of them so far tonight. A big slide by Mitchell Hunt, who just took over the number 5 spot from Adam Gilliland. And it looked like he had it. Probably was. There was traffic coming up the hill. And hello, the 18 sliding through the middle. Got into the 4 as they were both trying to find a way around that one. A lot of contact down to turn number 1 will slow us down once again. Coming right at the point, about 20-25 laps off of the restart where those tires started to fall away. So we'll see another trip back down the pit lane here in a moment. But the caution flag back out, Ryan.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, these guys at some point will give us a moment to talk about it here. But, so yeah, we have 3 different segments into this Cup Series. So we have basically 12, 12, and 12. We'll crown a champion after each segment. That way, it keeps people interested. It keeps them in it. And at the same time, we're going to be running a point standing that basically goes through the whole entire year. So more towards the end of the year, like in segment 3, we'll have a chase much like they have in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So that way you can have an overall champion that raced the entire year, and you can also have another champion, every 12 races. That just keeps it fresh, keeps it interesting, and we can always keep giving out prizes there to make it something where people just want to keep coming back. So we hope that's the case. We put a lot of thought into it, and we just hope it keeps going that way, where we have a bunch of people in here, good drivers too. And, I mean, that was one of the best right there that just caused that last wreck. So we'll just have to see what happens here.
Ray Alfalla, the first driver in. He comes into pit stall number 40 and has to get all the way down and out as he tries to maintain the race lead all the way down to the end of the pit lane. Closest competition would be the driver that was running in second place at the time. And we talked about the breakaway that he, Busa, and company had. Drag race off of the pit lane. He's not going to get it. The 44 of Logan Clampett to the race lead at lap 123. Brian, I'll tell you what, watching this race, if you said you're getting a little bit wound up, I think it's good that you're topside, because I can only imagine what these guys are going through down there on the racetrack. And I like when the math is easy on us. This next time by is going to be 40 laps to go, so we close in on the final stint in this evening's race. But hey, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Hopefully we'll be able to talk with you a couple of times this season. We'll let you get back to enjoying it.
Cool. Thanks for having me in here, and thank you guys for being here, because LSRTV is the best. I might be a little bit biased, but you are.
Well, definitely. Well, hey, thanks for the kind words. That is the big honcho behind the ASCORS Racing Series, if you will. Brian Schoenberg, a fan, much like everybody else, taking in the action from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll let him get back down to his admin room and his admin duties as we work under the yellow flag. Andy, couldn't agree more with anything else that he was saying. And we were talking about, again, earlier in the broadcast, and I think even before we came on, you were telling me, I just love Sunday nights. It's only been 1 week, and we love Sunday nights. It's fun to watch these guys because some of the stuff you see them doing, the 2 wide and the 3 wide, you just kind of sit there and you wonder how.
You know, and I'm not going to knock anybody or mention any names, but some of the other leagues we've, over the years have done, and you get some of these positions these guys are in, and, we can pretty much call it out that it would be a caution in some other leagues that, especially ones I've done way back a couple of years ago and stuff. But you watch these guys, just the talent level of all these guys throughout the field as well. It's just amazing the car control that these guys have on these things, even on worn tires. I mean, we saw the 21 spin out by himself in the back, but the ability to keep it from going back up the racetrack was just unbelievable. So, I mean, just that alone, and he talked about and touched base with the talent level of all these guys from all areas of iRacing and the NR 2003 days and all that, to have all these guys come back and do this league. And I'll tell you what, it's been some awesome racing. And this race here tonight, just the action we've had throughout the field. I mean, these guys are battling so hard for even 20th position out there on the racetrack that it's just been amazing. And I can't wait for next week for Vegas, because that's a pretty similar racetrack to this.
And that is just one of a couple of intermediate racetracks inbound. We mentioned tonight the first 1.5 miler on the season, joined by the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, joined by the Texas Motor Speedway as well, and Kansas. So 4 of them inside of this opening 12-race championship stint, and plenty more to come for the rest of the season. I'll tell you what, though, if you're enjoying tonight's coverage, go online to ASCORS Racing. That is ASCORS Racing.com for more information. And if you're enjoying all of tonight's coverage, I encourage you to tune in Saturday nights. It's LSRTV night on iRacing Live for the United Sim Racing Truck Series 2016 season, right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Every Saturday, coverage beginning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and the Nat Series as well has got 2016 off with a bang. There is plenty to look forward to. LiveSimRacing.com is your home for all of it. Pace car about to go down. It'll be Logan Clampett's restart to take.
Yeah, it will be Logan Clampett for the first time. He'll be on the inside lane as the pace car heads to pit road, and he'll wait for that green flag. Ray Alfala on the outside looking for a good jump. Logan Clampett, though, he's going to get on the gas pedal first. He's going to be able to pull out and keep that lead. Matt Busa now side by side with Alfala. That's a pretty good battle for that second spot heading into turn 1.
And that 27 tries to pinch down. Again, the outside a place to be, but when you're getting up through the gears, you start in second, you go to third, you get a fourth, there's no momentum on the outside. Second time around off of a restart, you're in a good spot, but the inside, much like a plate track, getting up to speed, being the shortest way around is the lane you want to be in. It's going to be enough to give Matt Busa the number 2 spot. Clampett still out in first, and Alfala, lucky enough, going to be able to find an opening between second and fourth. He'll take third. Clampett a little bit high into the corner. You can't give Matt Busa that kind of an opening side by side.
Yeah, you definitely can't give him that kind of opening, and look at him take advantage of it now. Heading back into turn number 3, he'll have Logan Clampett cleared. Now Clampett's going to have to deal with that 27 machine of Ray Alfala off of turn number 4, and it looks like he'll be able to clear him just by a bit now as they head back into turn number 1, but the top 5 all right there, nose to tail, and some great action all over the place as Alfala again looks to the inside. Looks like he'll have him clear as they exit turn number 2, with that 27 now up to second as they battle, and just behind him, look at his teammate Brian Blackford now side-by-side battle with the 3 car of Brad Patton, and all these guys getting it done right now with the fresh tires and some great racing. It looks like the 3 struggle bobble a little bit off of turn number 4 there. That'll give Blackford that position pretty comfortably now as Busa continues to start to pull away now as they exit turn number 2.
And there is just so much movement in these cars when they're out there on track. And you saw it there on the inside of that 37 to Blackford. I saw that 3 machine to Patton. That back end was swinging side to side. They're not lifting, though. These guys, they get sideways. Anybody else, they lift off. These guys, they use the throttle to hang on to these cars, and it is a fun thing to watch. Busa, though, out front and gaining 3/10 in the back pocket that time to Ray Alfala, who is second, Gilliland third, Clampett fourth, and Dan Roper inside of the top 5, but maybe not for long. Here comes Blackford on the bottom. 18 though, Parker with a bump draft topside. He wants to help the 61 out. What a move! Roper cuts down over the nose of that 37, takes away the bottom.
That was a close one right there into turn number 3, but he was clear. Daniel Roper making that bold move, drops down to the bottom, gets that spot away from Brian Blackford. Blackford now has to rekey and retool that machine, and he'll go to the bottom side now off of turn number 2 to try to get that. The momentum, though, on the high side will carry Roper. It's going to bring that 3 car now into the mix as they look to battle. Wow, Parker has just been outstanding with fresh tires. He has been really fast, and right there he had to check up just a bit. He'll lose a little bit of time right there to that 37 as they hit the start-finish line right there, and we'll complete lap 132. So the laps are really starting to click away here, Evan, and we're getting down to that crunch point. Probably one more pit stop for these guys, but other than that, it's an all-out war at this point.
Parker to the inside. He thought about it, jumps back in line. The 18 machine, cool-headed for the moment as they continue to battle and continue to fight through this one. Single file inside of the top 5 and single file inside of the top 10. First battle on track features the 97 machine of Alex Monteferranti running in 14th on the outside and trying to play some defense against Craig Stykes. Behind them, Austin Jones, Brian Day, Brad Newman, and John Gorlinski. Throw Matt Moose into the mix as well if you're looking at the standings through P20. These guys 3 wide just a couple of laps ago. Everybody's single filing out, though I think quicker on this restart than we've seen all night long. And just as we mentioned, at the 83 of Adam Benefield, 22nd to P10, he takes a spot away from Chase Gabriel.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those drivers that took his time coming up through the field here tonight, and we haven't talked much about him at all as he makes his way around Cabry, but Cabry trying to battle back right now. And you look at the 86, Joseph Goulart, who started on the pole right there, with a bold move to the inside, and he's going to work his way off turn number 4 now and try to get that spot away from Chase Cabry. But Cabry, one of those guys, started 13th, worked his way all the way up to the lead at one point in this race, but right now he's finding himself battling for that 10th spot on the racetrack, and he'll go back to the high side off of turn number 2. He'll get the momentum as he works side by side now with Adam Benefield again into turn 3.
And 3 wide with Gorlinski behind him, the 80 machine in that conversation as well. 5.1 seconds away from Matt Busa. A battle now shaping up inside of the top 10 with that 2 and the 83 again. So I mentioned that Adam Benefield took it away. Chase Cabry is not somebody that's going to roll over and give this one away. I like this picture of drivers here. David Comstock in 9th, Chase Cabry in 10th, Adam Benefield in 11th. Those are guys that could run away with the W most any of the night here on LSRTV, and they're struggling to get inside of the top 10. They're all showing some speed late, though. All 3 of these guys running the highest they have been all night long.
Oh, and that's great as we look on board with the 13 back towards the 2 of Chase Cabry. And that's what Schoenberg was talking about with this. You got such a diverse field of drivers in here, and these are 3 guys that we've seen over the years on LSRTV and leagues such like the RSR and things that they, and now we see them here battling with these guys, and they're doing a heck of a job. And you know what, honestly, when I talk about that 2 car, Chase Cabry's a phenomenal short track racer.
Hit the reset button again. Caution as Matthew Moose in the number 14 Chevrolet has gone around into turn number 3. And a little bit of assistance on that one. I'll tell you what, you look at it, looks intentional, probably incidental contact, though, down the back straightaway. Matt Moose racing side by side with the 9 machine of Braxton. That's a 6 of Brad Newman, but into the left rear, turned him right around. It was a nice clean dump off the corner. That looked like just 2 guys battling and running out of room into the corner. We know that you can go high, you can go low in. Everybody wants a high arc into the corner, Andy. It looked like those 2 guys were either A, looking for the same piece of real estate, or B, just thought they were a little bit more clear than they were.
Yeah, I think they were just battling for that same piece of real estate, try to get prepared for their corner entry right there, and ran out of room, made some contact, and that's probably the worst point of contact right there when you get caught up in the left rear quarter panel of someone. They're going to get turned right when they're about to turn into the corner too. So right when that car starts to load up to the right side. And when you touch that side, that's when they're going to go around. And that's exactly what we saw right there. But I think that was just a product of running out of room, trying to prepare themselves for corner entry. And that'll bring out the caution again. And if pit road is open again, this might be the last time we see these guys come down pit road as Matt Busa leads the way. Ray Alfala, first one in the stall.
At 27, Machine, you talk about clutch. Wins the battle off of the pit lane right after a run in which Matt Busa, for the first time tonight, looked like he was showing the 27 what was up. It'll be Ray Alfala's Alfala Tech Ford Fusion in front for the ensuing restart and inside of the final 25 laps in Atlanta. There is plenty more still to come, and depending on who you ask, the race starts now. We go LSRTV nonstop, but a step away. We'll be back for the restart in just a couple of minutes. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250 on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Back in a moment for the restart.
Ready, aim, fire.
We are back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the restart is on tap for 22 laps to go. And it is Ray Alfala to Matt Busa to Logan Clampett, Adam Gilliland, and Brian Blackford inside of the top 5, about to throw out the second checkered flag and to bring a conclusion to tonight's ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250. The number 27 going to be in control on the bottom, pace car down. Could it be for the final time? Alfala on the inside. Busa, top side, a checkered flag awaits. Green flag in the air, 22 to go.
Oh, and a huge checkup on the bottom side there. Looks like the 83 of Adam Benefield
Outside
gets pushed
also
into the grass. They're going 3 wide, though, up front here for that 4th spot. Adam Gilliland right in the middle, the 18. Parker to the outside. He's going to try hang on to it right now as Ray Alfala starts to check out. 3 car lengths now over Logan Clampett into turn 3.
The 27, he's happy because he's out in front. The 44 of Clampett ends up in front. 2x2x2. The 27 to 37 of Blackford. He gets tight off the corner. Big check up top side. There goes the 18. Parker around. Caution.
Wow, we saw that. I saw
again.
that coming right from the start of the green flag there. Everybody just getting checked up, and seemed like nobody was getting the rhythm, I should say, for that first lap. And big problems there off of turn number 4. The 18 had to check up, got into the wall, and flat out lost it into the wall. And it looks like everybody was able to get around him. He did a good job keeping it high on the racetrack and just a single car spin right there. So that's a good thing, I guess, at this point.
It all stemmed back to that 37 to Blackford, pushed up a little bit. The 8 of Gilliland behind him moved up 1 lane, 1.5 to try to avoid it, and the slightest movement there caused the 18 to swing it a little bit wide, got the fence, and it was a violent reaction when he got it outside of the wall, and it's going to be a yellow single car accident, but heavy damage in Josh Parker's favor. That number 18 machine goes 142 laps up front, and it'll be the final 21 that will not allow him to get a good finish tonight. Tough break. Like I said, though, reset button. You do it again. Nothing's guaranteed till the checkered flag flies. Ray Alfalo, though, did a very good job that last time around, getting off of the line and getting out in front of the field. And a good job by Clampett, too. He goes from third to second. Busa falls from second to third. Pit road is open. Alfalo wants nothing of it. Clampett wanted to come down, but he didn't get enough support from behind. He dives back out. Nobody inside the top 10 will be down for service. They want the track position.
Yeah, there was only about 1 green flag lap right there on the tire. So obviously seeing these guys with the track position deciding to stay out, that's definitely a good call. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple guys around 20th position or back come down pit road. Not that they need to, but maybe some guys with a little bit of more damage to get fixed up on those cars, try to get a couple more positions before this thing's all said and done. But leaders will stay out, and we're going to battle it out right now. You see a couple of them. Not sure if they're trying to save fuel there with the 8 car on the apron, but a lap car coming around now. But, yeah, everyone's staying out. And I guess basically at this point, Evan, unless they run about another 10 laps or so on this next green flag run and get another caution, I'm sure we've probably seen the last time on pit road for these leaders.
Normally it's the leader who is in the worst scenario because of the fact that if everybody else comes down pit road behind him, he's out of luck. And then if he comes down pit road, everybody else has the opportunity to stay out. That 27, he did not care what was happening behind him. He was staying out. Logan Clampett wanted to come down, but he didn't see Busa. He didn't see Blackford. I think Gilliland was down on the inside and thinking about coming down and getting some service, but nobody else was coming down to the point where it would have been worth it. So Clampett jumps back out. If we get another caution, we're going to go through the same motions, and we're going to find out every single time. So Ray Alfalo not only has to race on track and hold on to the race lead, he has to hope that the strategy portion of this doesn't bite him in the rear end. So far, so good. I will say, though, on that restart, Andy, somebody came over the driver radio and said, I'm surprised that wasn't, a couple of words that we can't say on the air, a big wreck. It happened a couple of corners later. We've seen that all night long, though. We don't expect any different, especially late.
No, we don't. And how close these guys have been running all night long, and one little slip up, it could definitely cause a major accident with a lot of cars involved. So that one there, that could have been. It was up in the front of the field that it did happen. So a great job again by everybody staying low and keeping out of the way, and a good job by the 18 to keep the foot on the brakes while he was spinning and stay up high on the racetrack. So a good job all around by everybody there on that caution there. But all that does is lets us get to reset this and do it all over again, which is fine by me because these guys are doing a great job on these restarts.
Lights are on. We expect them to go off this time by, I believe, we'll have about 16 laps to go. When we do get this one back and away, Ray Alfalo in front of the 31 other drivers that are still on the lead lap. We still have 32 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. And as always, you see the current running order scroll across the top of your screen. The drivers that have had some problems tonight doing it out off the lead lap, but still on track. 33rd, Matt Quick. 34th, Josh Parker. Brad Newman, 35th position. Scott Mitten, as well as Tyler Dalton. Mitchell Hunt is out of this race. Trey Edson is out of the race. Alan Elwood, RJ Williams, Justin Weaver, Byron Daly. The rest of the names that will finish tonight's Pro Geek Cup Atlanta 250 behind the wall and have a short end to the second race of the championship. But the lights are off, Andy. Final restart.
Probably not. I'll say probably not, just because of how hard these guys are racing, and just the fact of how many laps we have left. I mean, it's time to go, and we're able to for some of these guys outside the top 10, they're fortunate enough to get another caution, that they have another opportunity to get themselves in there to get a really good finish here in the second race of the season. So it'd be hard to say that we wouldn't get one, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get one with the talent we have here tonight.
The pace car gonna dive down for what could be the final restart on the evening. We'll have 16 laps to go in Hotlanta. The 27 Ray Alfala into the restart box. Green flag in the air. 16 laps to go for round 2.
A good jump, too, for Alfala on that bottom side. He'll be able to pull out at least a car length right now as the battle for second is side by side. Matt Busa to the inside now off of turn number 2. Logan Clampett trying to hang on to it. Adam Gilliland trying to pick which line's going to move. Right now in that 4th spot, they're still side by side for second. Busa going to take over that spot as they work their way through 3 and 4. Clampett, though, he's going to look to the inside off turn number 4. A crossover move for second.
And he's got the inside, which is going to be the place to be into the corner. Can that 34 fight back off of the corner to maintain that second spot? Clampett not going to get clear. The 34 has it. He'll draw him back to a door-to-door fight. This is exactly what Ray Alfala wants to see in the mirror. Problem is, 27's not really getting any further away from him.
No, he's not. And that could be the damage that he suffered earlier on in the race, just hindering him just enough to not be able to pull away, because we did see him lead the field early on in this race and really pull away to almost a 2-second lead over everybody. So at this point in the race, everybody else behind him on their game as well. Busa on the high side going to take over that second spot for good. Here comes Adam Gilliland. He's going to take over third from Clampett. So work their way back into turn number 3. Lots of side-by-side action just behind these guys with the 3 of Brad Patton looking to pick up a couple spots right here off of turn number 4. He's going to have Roper, though, to his outside.
And Roper on that outside of the racetrack is not going to make it easy for him either. Again, inside, good in, outside, good out. That's the way it works. And they're 2 wide, 2 rows deep with that 86 of Galota and the 13 of Machida. David Comstock, 3 wide, Chase Cabry to the inside. It's a battle for 9th on track. Do they have enough room to make it through turns 3 and 4? There's contact between the 2 and the 86. Comstock in the back out. There's the contact. Big wreck off the corner. Cabry's hard into the fence along with Galota.
Huge wreck, and that was just fighting for every single position they possibly could get right there. And Chase Cabry running out of real estate right there in the corner exit, and that car just the tendency of those cars, especially to keep it underneath you, is to go up the racetrack on corner exit. And the problem with 3 wide was there just was no room at all, and with David Comstock on the outside there, which a tough break for that 13 car, because, man, he was having a great race, Evan, and for him to finish or have a bad incident like this late in the race for him, that's got to be heartbreaking.
And another caution means another restart. And that one could have been a lot worse. Sure, it was a hard hit off the corner. It could have definitely piled in plenty more drivers. Yellow flag, though, is back out. And now you start to look at, even if we get another wreck, do we even have a chance of going back under a green flag condition in this race? Next time by, going to be 10 laps to go inside of the final 5. A yellow would end the race at said point. Under the caution flag, we would not have an opportunity to go back green. It takes about 4 laps to get through a caution flag pit cycle. I think you got to reckon the 2 laps right off of the restart if you want to get back at it. Ray Alfala wants 2 laps and then a yellow. He wants to have, I guess, to not have to continue to go through the motions, because every single restart is an opportunity for you to make a mistake. Logan Clampett down pit side. He has Brian Blackford come down with him, but that's it. That's going to put him way back in the field. I don't know about that one. It looked good when the 37 came in behind him. I don't think that's anywhere near enough help, though.
No, it isn't. There's so many guys that stayed out, and not surprising that there were, but, man, a whole bunch of guys all the way back. Doy Woods in the 91 stayed out. There's a whole bunch of them that stayed out. So this is going to put Logan Clampett and Brian Blackford outside the top 20 on this restart, and we're only going to probably have about 7 laps left to go, and that's not a lot of time. Maybe to make up 5 to 10 positions, maybe, but there's no way they're going to get themselves back up in contention for this one.
LiveSimRacing.com, the place to be for all your sim racing needs throughout the week as well. Give us a like at Facebook.com/LiveSimRacingTV. LSRTV is the voice of sim racing and home to some of the best leagues on iRacing and in sim racing. And tonight, we've seen one that you're going to want to bookmark and come back and watch every once in a while when you want to see what some great racing is. And it's coming down to no holds bar at the end. We saw some pit service. Ray Alfala, Matt Busa, Adam Gilliland. Lights to go off this time. We'll see. And they stay on. That means at least 2 more laps until the restart. That puts us now starting to get towards 8 to go for the green flag, if not 9, or if not 7 to go rather. What do we take the green? I think either case, we will still have an opportunity to get a yellow, and then as well to get another green flag at the end of it all. But we'll see. Ray Alfala just needs to do what he did the last 2 times, and that is get a good jump.
Yeah, and being the control car, he should be able to get a good jump and jump out in front of that 34 machine, but we'll have to see. Obviously, it's the tension just keeps on getting tighter and tighter here. This is it's almost nerve-wracking, you know, and I can't, for myself, and I'm just watching. I'm not even in one of these cars here, these guys in the top 5, so it's got to be nerve-wracking for them as well. There's the fact of, you know, what do we do next, or what could happen on the restart, and we know when you jumble these guys up and you get somebody with a decent run behind you, they're going to force the issue 3 wide this late in the race, and that could spell disaster, obviously. So it could take that good top 3 or top 5 that you got and really put yourself in a bad position. So it's got to be nerve-wracking for those drivers. I know it is for me just watching it, but I can't wait because it should be exciting nonetheless.
This time, we'll take a look to the lights on top of the American Childhood Cancer Organization. Ford Mustang GT go out. They do. It will be 7 laps to go for Ray Alfala, Matt Busa, Adam Gilliland, Brad Patton, Daniel Roper, Brentley Glazer, Alex Monteferranti, Austin Jones, John Gorlinski, and Craig Stykes inside of the top 10. A couple of those names towards the back half of the names that I just mentioned, running at the highest point they have all race long. You want to peek at the end.
Well, this is exactly what they did. And you know what? They took advantage of all those guys that were just outside the top 5. They took advantage of them coming down pit road to get fresh tires, and they decided to stay out to gain themselves some more positions and obviously give them a shot at getting a top 5 finish, or at least securing a top 10 finish here tonight, which is exactly what you need. You got to have some solid, consistent finishes week in and week out. And what a better way to do that than come here in Atlanta and steal one away.
Final thoughts. We go 2 wide, about, I'll say, 15 rows deep with 29 drivers still on the lead lap. We're happy to have you with us right here on LSRTV. If you've been tuning in all night, thanks. And if you're tuning in now, you're here for the action. Pace car down. Ray Alfala going to take the green flag. 7 laps to go from the Atlanta Motor Speedway yellow.
Jet.
Already, and that'll give us one final restart. Quick caution flag.
Big accident right there on the restart. Everybody trying to get going there, and looked like some contact up around that 10th spot there. Checked up a little bit. The 80 got in the back of the 97, and that really caused it to happen there. And the 7 goes around the 4 with some big trouble, and a whole bunch of those guys involved in that one. And trying to take a peek here and see what happened to the 44, Logan Clamp, and see if he got through that, and along with him, if Blackford was able to. And it actually looks like those guys snuck right through there, so that'll give themselves a few more positions here as well.
And that was a checkup on the outside, a checkup on the inside. We said that these guys would be up on the wheel. That's all it was. It's the accordion effect. The first guy gets on the back end of the guy in front of him, checks up a little bit, because, again, they're trying to anticipate when your race leader is going to go. Eventually, it just escalates, much like you would see in a fender bender on the freeway. Eventually, somebody is going to get caught off guard, and they're going to get into the back of them. And unfortunately, it was the 90 who is the one that gets the big hit. He gets hard into the back of the 57 to Craig Stykes, gets hit hard in the back end by the 4 of Brian Day, and it was the 7, Rich Jetty, on the inside, who was the one that gets turned by the right rear after the cars on the outside slid down, and it was about a 6 to 7 car accident right at the start-finish line. And while it may not be official overtime, I'm tempted to say green-white checkered.
Yeah, it's going to be at least that, at least 2-lap shootout here to the end once everything cycles through, and we'll be able to get this back underway. But, man, that was incredible. But I guess if they wanted another restart, they did it at the right time because a couple of green flag laps, and that would have put us under that possibility of ending this thing under caution. So we get one more last chance here, final restart to be able to get this finished under green conditions, and one more restart and one more chance for Matt Busa to try to take over that race lead and pick himself up a win here in the second race of the season. If not, Ray Alfala is looking like he's going back to back.
And that would be a great way to start off the season. He won just 1 week ago at the Daytona International Speedway for the ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250 here tonight. He looks to go back to back. He won that one over Adam Benefiel. Benefiel here in tonight's race was running up front at times, has since fallen to the wayside, running back and outside of the top 20 after getting into some contact here late in these races. And we said at the start of the broadcast, with 167 laps, that's a long way to get through. A lot of these names that you're seeing getting torn up now were fine in the opening 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. You can work for 2 hours to get here and then walk away with a P30. You know, that's just the way it works. The safest place to be is in front. We now just take a look at the lights and we wait. We find out what is going to happen. If the lights come on, or rather come off this next time by, when we take lap 161, we'll come around to take 2 and 3. It would be a green-white checker. If they stay on now, best case scenario, a 1-lap shootout.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get back racing. It's just a matter of if we get 2 laps or 1 lap for the shootout. The problem with 1 lap for these guys behind Ray Alfala is it takes about a lap to really get up to speed and get going. So a 1-lap shootout probably won't give them the opportunity to get themselves a victory. They really need 2 laps to be able to work that outside lane to try to take advantage of it and get themselves with some momentum built up to be able to get that race lead away. But a 1-lap shootout, I think, definitely won't get it done for them.
It is the deciding moment. Do we go green-white checker in the Atlanta 250? The pace car this time by, going to take 3 laps to go. Ray Alfala behind patiently awaits. Lights are off. It will be a green-white checker, Andy, or may very well be green-white wreckers. We'll see.
I wouldn't put it past it either. I mean, these guys are obviously that last restart. Everybody was in such anticipation of it when they were going to go, and they all wanted to go. You could see them all back there outside the top 5, just raring to go, and it stacked everything up and got everybody jumbled up in a couple of wrecks there. So we'll see how it all plays out here at this point. A note, though, Logan Clampett, Brian Blackford, they started 18th and 19th. That last one, they're up to 15th and 16th here. So they got a tall order in 2 laps to get themselves at least up into the top 10.
One final time from Atlanta. If the caution flag flies before the white is displayed, the leader at the put of caution going to take the checkered flag alongside the yellow, and they will do it behind the pace car at just 65 miles an hour. If we get to the white flag, all bets are off. It is the first car across the start-finish line to complete lap 163. It's going to walk away with all the points and the hardware. Pace car down to the restart box we go. Ray Alfala started 40th. He leads us back to it. 2 laps to go in Hotlanta.
He gets a pretty good jump right there. Matt Busa, though, able to hang on to that top side just for a moment, though. The inside lane, they're going to have that line as they hit up through the gears right now off of turn number 2. Busa is going to try.
Forward, back in the pack. Big wreck in turn 2. Caution, that's it. The 37 in the middle of that hole. I was just about to say, Andy, we look good inside of the top 10. That's because everybody was back outside the top 15. Something happened into turn number 1 that checked everybody up. And we got to get a second look at this. 4 wide in 1 and 2 with the 58, the 14, the 37, and the 05. And there's just not enough footage on the dirt track to get all those cars through the corner.
No, there isn't enough room at all. And, man, just 4 wide action. And maybe we're hearing that maybe the 14 missed a gear and it kind of jumbled everything up. But, yeah, 4 wide action, that's just not going to work at all. And the 37 took the big brunt of that right there off of turn number 2 and nowhere to go. I mean, you can't blame anybody for forcing it 4 wide at the end of this thing. You're trying to get every single possible position you need and can get, and right there, that's a product of exactly a 2-lap shootout right there.
It'll be at the slowed pace of, as we said, 65 miles an hour behind the pace car, but it'll taste just as sweet. Second race, second checkered flag. Ray Alfalla from 40th to 1st, back-to-back wins at Atlanta. Alfalla takes the checker.
That's a great job. And you talk about getting a win last week. I mean, he worked his way. He was at the front of the field last week at Daytona, stayed there for the majority of the race with teammate Brian Blackford. This race started 40th. Unbelievable. Made his way up through the field rather quickly as well. Just had a tremendous amount of speed in that 27 car all night long and was able to get up to the race lead after a good pit stop that got him the race lead late in this going, a couple cautions ago. And for Ray Alfalla, that's going to be the second win in as many weeks. And carrying that momentum, that's a nice thing when you head to Las Vegas next week, a pretty similar racetrack to this.
The Las Vegas Motor Speedway going to be next Sunday right here on LSRTV. And Ray Alfalla going to look to triple down next week. But so far, 2 races in, 2 checkered flags. Ray Alfalla gets the win in tonight's ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250. And he'll burn it down on the front straightaway as a deserving win. And it'll put him well out in front of the championship standings through now 2 races of 12 in 2016 Season 1 campaign. It's safe to say that this ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series is now underway with a bang. And before we put Week 2 to the books, we'll step away, come right back, and be with you for the LSR TV post-race show. Talk to some of your top finishers and preview next Sunday's event from Las Vegas. Back in a moment, you're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, streaming live on iRacing Live on LSR TV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
We're back live at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway for the LSRTV post-race show, the ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250, drawing to a close for round 2 on the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series Championship on LSRTV. Let's take a look at our round 2 full race results presented to you by ProGeek Consulting LLC. Second week in a row that Rayo Falla ends the night off at victory lane. Adam Gilliland second to Matt Busa in third. We'll talk with your podium finishers and preview Las Vegas for next week in just a moment. A P4 tonight for Dan Roper, and Brad Patton comes home inside of the top 5. Brentley Glazer, Alex Monteferranti, John Gorlinski, Austin Jones, and Doy Woods round out your top 10.
Coming home in 11th spot here tonight will be the 90 of Greg Spears. John Wilco finished 12th. 13th goes to Justin Fuller. Jordan Hightower finishes 14th. 15th goes to Josh Connors. Chad Coleman in the 20 finishes 16th. 17th is Matt Moose. Adam Benefiel finishes 18th. 19th goes to Josh Jones. And 20th is Tyler Tucker.
21st is going to be Craig Stykes, 22nd to Rich Jetty, E.J. O'Rourke in 23rd to Brandon Wilkinson, 24th, and 25th to Brian Blackford. Logan Clampett as well rounds out your lead lap finishers, P26. A lot of those names back there, guys that were up front and led laps in this race. First driver off of the lead lap, 2 laps down in 27th is Jesse Kovacs. David Comstock in 28th. 29th is Matthew Chafe, and Brian Day rounding out your top 30 finishers.
86 of Joseph Gallardo, who started on the pole tonight, finishes 31st, 11 laps down. Chase Cabry, another one of the front runners most of the night here, finishes 32nd. 33rd is Scott Mitten. Matthew Quick finishes 34th. 35th goes to Josh Parker. Brad Newman finishes 36th. 37th is Tyler Dalton. Mitchell Hunt will come in 38th. 39th to Trey Edson. Alan Elwood will finish 40th. 41st is the 21 of R.J. Williams. Justin Weaver finishes 42nd, and Byron Daly rounds out the 43-car field here tonight. And, Evan, I think it's about that time for interviews, and I think you've caught up with our third-place finisher here tonight, Matt Busa.
We talked about back-to-back wins for Rayo Falla, and it would have put him way out into the points lead, but he's not getting that far away because for the second week in a row, a P3 for Matt Busa coming home tonight on the podium from Atlanta. Matt, congratulations to you. By the numbers, it won't look as crazy of a night for you as the guys in front. Gilliland started 17th to come home second, and Ray started way back in 40th. You start third, you finish third. There was a lot in between those 2 points that made that one a tough one. What a wild race, at least it was for us up here. Talk us through that one and walk it away inside of the top 3, not only surviving the first 140 laps of chaos, but as well getting through some of those final race restarts.
Yeah, I went into the race with a different strategy than most. I'm assuming I was going to pit, I believe, in extra time. And the first round, you saw me pit early there. I'm at 23. And, of course, caution came out right after I exited pits. So then I still wanted to do this extra pit stop strategy since there was such big fall off. But never really had the chance with the cautions. Luckily, got back up to the top 3 and into the lead at one point. And then lost the lead to Ray on pit road, and that was the pass for the win.
And it was definitely a lot of action pit side and then as well on track. And at the end of this race, maybe even throughout the rest of the race, I'd say the final 2/3 of it, cautions would always come right before we saw pit stops happening. And those cycles of pit stops, when you guys did make it to at least the start of some green flag cycles before a yellow would eventually come out, they were very short runs. How much of that was the tires?
Yeah, it was pretty much all the tires. We had about 2 seconds fall off after like 18 to 20 laps. So, like with my strategy, I was thinking I would gain 2.5 seconds per lap for about 10 laps. And if you do that throughout the race, you end up gaining a lot. I'm not quite sure how it would have worked out, but might try that in tomorrow's race.
So we look forward to that one for sure. And then going forward to next Sunday for the next race on this ProGeek Consulting Cup Series Championship, back to another intermediate racetrack. You're 2 for 2 on getting top 3 finishes. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, another 1.5, but very different from Atlanta. What are some of the key differences that you guys are going to have to work on to keep this momentum up? Because so far, so good. A great start to 2016.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Vegas. I actually haven't run any laps there on the new surface model we got. So I'm hoping, lots of different lines work. I like to always venture out, usually to the high side. So expect me to be up by the wall at Vegas, and hopefully it'll be a fast line.
That one should be exciting. It'll be round 3 of 12 in this 2016 Cup Series campaign for you guys. 2 races in, though. I guess the only way to beat 2 top 3 finishes would be to be in the seat that Ray's in with 2 trips to victory lane. Is this how well you guys were expecting to perform? And with this strong start, how does that dictate the next 10?
Yeah, I was hoping to get a couple top fives to start it off. And of course, I expected Ray to be up there, challenging for wins in every race. And it's good to be up here in points, but we gotta hopefully get that trophy the next few weeks to dethrone Ray there from his spot.
We wish you the best of luck there. Sponsors, shout outs to people behind the scenes, Matt. Who makes it happen for you? Second straight top 3 finish.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Gale Force Racing and all the work that we do there on the peak side of things. And also like to give a shout out to Dylan Duvall for painting me a paint scheme here, which is an absolute beauty. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting these races.
Well, you guys definitely made tonight fun, Matt. Thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Congratulations on the solid run. Good luck Tuesday, and we will see you on Sunday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Matt Busa tonight, P3 for the second week in a row. So the only difference in our results from last week is P2. It went to Adam Benefield. This week, a different Adam. Gilliland comes home P2, and you are caught up down with him on the pit lane, Andy.
That's right. I am down here with second place finisher tonight in the 8 car. And of course, that's Adam Gilliland. And Adam, after not appearing in the season opener at Daytona, how important was it for you to come out here and get a solid finish like you did here tonight in second?
Yeah, it's equally as important as Wednesday's Truck Series, getting second there as well. When you missed the first week, you put yourself in a hole, and it's nice to get a second tonight and close up some ground.
We'll be able to close up quite a few positions on this one, but obviously a mile and a half this week, a very abrasive racetrack in Atlanta. You were able to find the speed, and obviously when it came down to it at the end, you got the finish that you needed. When it comes to Vegas next week, how important or how much similar is it to Atlanta? We know it's kind of a rough racetrack, especially in turns 1 and 2, but do you find some similarities with Atlanta to Vegas that you can maybe move on to next week and have the same success?
Oh, absolutely. At Vegas, you're actually going to be doing the same thing you're probably doing in Atlanta. You're going to see a lot of guys up running the middle to top lane in 1 and 2, just because that's the preferred groove, with the bump being in the middle to / bottom of the racetrack. And then in 3 and 4, you're going to see everyone trying to dive to the bottom. But if you're able to ride on the guy's door enough, you can make the middle work in 3 and 4. Should be a great race, just like tonight was.
Well, hopefully for you as well. A rough start at 17th. Probably a little bit of a disappointing qualifying run for you, but you were able to come home in that second spot. And to be able to do that is obviously a good thing for you and your first race of the season. Moving on to next week, though, obviously big things in order as the season progresses. And hopefully you can continue this momentum here next week at Vegas. And with that said, though, sponsors, shout outs, who helps you get the 8 car, to every week.
Yeah, I just got to thank Brian and JD and all the guys at ASCORS for putting on this series. You guys for broadcasting these events. It's pretty cool to race broadcast at events like this. And obviously I got to thank my Peak Canada Free Series sponsor, Gary Merch Trucking, Trey Edson for the beautiful paint job, and see you guys in Vegas.
Sounds like fun, and we will see you in Vegas in 1 week's time. And right now we've sent it up to Victory Lane, where familiar spot for the driver you're about to talk to, Evan, and Ray Alfala getting it done 2 weeks in a row.
It was last week at the Daytona International Speedway, where it was Ray, Adam, and Matt. 1, 2, 3. This week, Ray Alfala, Adam Gilliland, and Matt Busa come home on the podium. And for the second week in a row, the number 27 is in Victory Lane. Ray Alfala, the winner of tonight's ProGeek Cup Atlanta 250. Ray, congratulations to you. You didn't make that one easy on yourself, though. P40 to P1, but you made up the bulk of that rather early in this race, and a lot of it was battling inside of the top 3 with the likes of Gilliland, Busa, and others, and then a couple of late race restarts there to keep your blood pumping. Walk us through it.
Yeah, in qualifying, I barely nicked the wall. coming to take the checkered, and it didn't count the lap. So we started 40th, and I figured, hey, first of all, it's just awesome to have a 43 car field in any league that you run. So, big props to ASCORS, and it looks like it's off to the great start that it deserves. It was a great league 10 years ago, and it's still awesome now. So yeah, we started 40th, and I really wasn't trying to hurry to the front, but with the way this track is, where you can run different lanes, I just kind of, put it where other people weren't, and then I think we got up to like 8th after that first caution on lap 20 something, and then at the end it just kind of, we won it on pit road pretty much. If we would have gone green to the end on that 40 lap run, I think we had something for Matt, because he said he was going to try to split that run into two runs of 20 or 19, and I was just going to try to go all the way. So that would have been interesting, but yeah, we brought the Falotech Ford to victory lane, so it feels good.
Second week in a row, you get the win. Second week in a row, Matt Busa walks away with the P3. So, well, you walk away with all the points here again tonight. Not blowing the field out of the water, because Busa keeping you honest there. Almost the identical results to last week. Adam Benefield took home a P2. This week it was Adam Gilliland. For being, though, just now 2 races into a 12-race championship, and asked Matt the same thing. While this series comes back, most series, it's easy to kind of put a pin on a couple of the guys that we think are going to be up front and running competitively and winning races. In this series, it is so extremely difficult. You know a thing or two about sim racing, though, and winning races, so it's hard to be surprised by the performance that 27 has put on so far. For you, though, how are you expecting his first 2 weeks to go?
It's kind of funny how it works out, to where the guys in the NPAS end up running in the front, even with the fixed setup races. So, but there's a lot of talent in the league. There's a lot of drivers that haven't gone for the Pro Series, haven't gone for the NPAS, and that's why they're not in there. But they could easily be. So a lot of the names that I knew 10 years ago are in the league, and a lot of the people I've raced in for the past decade are in the league. And the first 2 races, I don't know, I just kind of expected good racing, and that's what we've got so far.
I start to finish in this one, there was really just no letting off. By the time you guys got a yellow, things weren't even single filed out yet. The intensity has been so great, and I like the fact that you mentioned that, because you guys are showing that you guys are at the level that you are in sim racing and here on iRacing, because you guys know a thing or two about what you're doing. It was a spectacular race for us to watch. Las Vegas next on the schedule. I'm sure you'd like to go 3 for 3. We talked about intermediate racetracks when we came on the air tonight being, for the most part, the bulk of the schedule compared to any other kind of track. So while Daytona was fun, the intermediate tracks are really going to show us what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the year. I was impressed, and I think it was interesting that the running order was almost identical, and we saw all the same names up front. Las Vegas, though, 1.5 miles, much as here in Atlanta, but it is a very different track. What's the transition going to be like this Sunday to next, and how are you guys going to be able to consistently find the speed on not only these different kind of intermediate tracks, but as well on the short tracks?
Yeah, Vegas is. It's not too far from Atlanta. I was gonna say Daytona, but the way Daytona drove it actually was pretty similar to a lot of mile and a halves, which I think is why you saw a lot of the top names up there, because it just wasn't a big draft fest. It was actually, you had to drive the car, do stuff in the corners. But yeah, Vegas, I was hoping to get the low downforce package before the Vegas race, but we'll get that before the Phoenix race. So. Yeah, more of the same pretty much. Just the tires going away after about 15 laps, and then you just kind of have to hang on. I haven't run any laps at Vegas since we got this latest tire update with all the fall off. So, I haven't been very successful there in the past. But it seems with the way the cars drive now and all the fall off and the way you have to drive them, I'm kind of starting to like tracks I didn't like before.
Well, it has been a fun opening 2 weeks. If Las Vegas and the rest of the season is anything like we've seen this and last week, we're in for a treat. Everybody at home is in for a treat as well, and you guys put on a show tonight. And at the end, you're able to hold on to those couple of late race restarts there to take home the checkered flag under the yellow. Ray, we asked you last week, we'll ask you again, give you an opportunity to thank all the people behind the scenes who makes it happen for you.
Yeah, thanks, Alphalta. Thanks, Slip Angle Motorsports, Brandon Wright. You know, he was helping spotting for teammate Brian Blackford and I. And again, you know, thanks to ASCORS for putting the league up, and you know, can't wait till next week. And of course, thank you to LSRTV. You guys do a great job.
We'll see you then, Ray. Congratulations, 2 for 2. We'll see you in Las Vegas for round number 3.
Thank you. See you guys.
Not a bad start to the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Ray Alfalo, winner at Daytona, winner at Atlanta. Matt Busa finishes P3 at both races. Both races were spectacular, Andy. The countdown begins. 6 days and 22 hours, I think, till we drop the green flag again.
And I can't wait. I mean, I just, I wish it was tomorrow. You know, I mean, the way these guys, the competition, just the way they drive, and the, it's just, it's absolutely amazing. And the job that all these guys, all throughout the field, it was just a phenomenal race. And when you talk about, you know, 163 lap race and to still have 26 cars on the lead lap, that just goes to show you how fast everybody is throughout the field. And, it's just gonna. I can't see it getting. It can't get worse than this. I mean, it's just gonna keep getting better. I think week after week, and like Ray just pointed on too, with the new build coming out in a couple of weeks. That'll be interesting when that new package with the downforce comes into effect and really changes everything. Or we'll see how it will change everything. And obviously, the first stop would probably be that Phoenix race here in a couple of weeks. So I'm not sure we'll see too much of it there. We'll have to wait till we head to Texas and places like that, but it's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to give these guys probably a whole different dynamic challenge for them as far as to figure it out. And I'm sure the servers, the iRacing servers, will be pretty busy with all these guys running a lot of test laps once that configuration comes out.
Yeah, not a lot of people have run laps at Las Vegas, and it's going to be the site of round number 3 next Sunday. Hopefully, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series guys get their deal with and get it done rather quickly, so I could be home in time for that one. It is sure to be thrilling. Sundays and as well Wednesdays are the place to be on LSRTV for not only the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, but as well on Wednesdays for the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series. Continuing on for round 3 this Wednesday. And, of course, on your weekend, get your weekend sim racing fix with the United Sim Racing Truck Series Saturdays at 10. We have plenty more action. All of that information can be found on www.livesimracing.com as well. Make sure to give us a like on Facebook and stay up to date. You can find us on facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Until next time, that does it from Hampton, Georgia. 2 down, 10 to go, and still plenty more racing on Sunday nights left in 2016. So, on behalf of everybody at ASCORS and for the sponsors, ProGeek Consulting LLC, and everybody else behind the scenes, and on behalf of the entire LSRTV team, and for the broadcast crew tonight, for producer Cisco Scaramuza and Andy Kessler, my name is Evan Posoko. Thank you so much for tuning in, and congratulating Ray Alfala for going back-to-back to kick off the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series campaign. We'll see you next Sunday where they roll the dice in Las Vegas. Good night.